Well. One more time. Well. Howdy-ho, neighbors. I'm Matt, the Toolman Wyatt. After yesterday's show, I have decided to dive in on several projects around the house. Win, lose, or draw, pass or fail, I'm going to try some stuff. I'll give you a full report coming up. First, real quick, because I have a special guest in the studio, I would like to just say happy Hump Day, everybody. Come on! Do the Humpty Hump. Come on, do the Humpty Hump. Do the Humpty Hump. Come on. Do the Humpty Hump. Just watch me do the Humpty Hump. All right, so happy Hump Day, everybody. And as a part of our Hump Day celebration, Beaver has stayed over from the gridiron to give me 2 minutes because I just want to talk to Beaver on the air because it's been a while. Beaver, hi there.
Hey, Matt Wyatt. First, I'm going to have to make sure I can still hear.
Did I blow your...
No, you didn't. But I'm sitting in the chair that Jake Wimberly sits in.
Yeah.
And we've talked about how he's deaf before.
Yes.
Because I have to control his volume of his headphones, but I've never actually listened on his headphones, which I'm doing right now. Okay, I turned them down for Kristen, and they are still murdering my ears.
I had the same experience. Anytime I used to ever come into the studio with Roger, I'd sit over there in that same chair, and I'd always, before I even put them on, I could hear Jake's headphones from halfway across the room and knew that I had to get them. Yeah, Jake's got a hearing problem. I mean, like legit hearing problem. No doubt. Beaver, I really appreciate you sticking around. Here's what I wanted to ask you on the air real quick before you got out of here. This morning, I opened Facebook, and it gives you these different things, like it'll give you a memory of something you posted from 2-3 years ago on this day, that kind of thing. And, it also will suggest people you may know that you might want to connect with on Facebook. And today, my number one suggestion on Facebook, like it was basically saying, here, flashing light, you might want to friend request this guy. You probably know him. You must have mutual friends. It's Beaver. Of course, it's your real name on there. And so I just saw that a little bit ago. Here you are. I had a chance to say hey to you. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to take this a step further. I'm not going to be the social media guy where I just pop up a friend request, right? Because you and I are sort of friends, all right? I just thought I'd ask you publicly on the air. Will you be my Facebook friend?
I certainly will, Matt Wyatt. Certainly will.
Okay, well,
he's mine, so he should be yours if he's mine.
Well, I'm going to go in
and share friends, right?
I'm going to go in and send Beaver a friend request on Facebook so that he can approve it. I feel like part of this is me doing, in a very public way, sort of trying to figure out a way to avoid being shot down by Beaver.
He wants you, because if you put me on the spot on the radio, then I have to say yes. I see your game.
You can't say no. You know
I'm
what I'm
looking
saying?
at it now, Matt Wyatt. I'm on Facebook. I'm not seeing a friend request.
Well, I'm saying I didn't just assume that you would want my friend request, so I didn't send the friend request without talking to you first. Now, what does that say about me and about us? Does it say anything?
I mean, I
think you're very respectful of one another, and you don't want to come off as being too, how should we say it,
forward?
Arrogant.
Oh.
Arrogant that, you would be my friend. If I send you a request, you've got to accept that. Well, so you would rather verbalize. You would rather hear rejection than face it silently.
I would really prefer neither. I just thought I'd get him on the air and put him on the spot. It's a lot harder for him to,
Oh, there it is. Matt Wyatt sent you a friend request. Confirm.
There it is.
Don't waste time.
Now,
here's the test, though, Matt. The test was not if I would accept it, because I was going to accept it if you sent it. But the test will be whenever you actually get down here, because for 6 months, there's been a promise of country pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still have the right within 30 days to unfriend, depending on delivery or lack thereof.
I didn't know that was in the, the language.
Bylaws.
Even though you don't drink coffee, Beeve, I think he should throw in some High Point Roasters coffee as well.
I'm curious about it, actually.
Yeah, I might throw some in. I'd be happy to. I think it would be a heck of a deal if that was what got Beaver to drinking coffee.
We'll send some Alpha Media community back with you.
Hey, and check this out, Beaver. We have 5 mutual friends, and that's it. Okay, you got like tons of friends on Facebook, and 5 of them are my friends also. Our friend Jared, okay, photographer, Chicken Hawk, okay, Lou Bell, one Jake Wimberly, who, by the way, Jake's profile picture on Facebook and his personal page, you see that? It's him grinning into a camera taking a selfie with Mike Leach. And Chris Brooks. Those are our 5 mutual friends on Facebook. Well, I'm just glad that we have finally connected after all this time. We are, a friendship isn't official until you tie the knot on Facebook, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, hey, thanks, Beaver, for accepting my friend request.
Hey, Matt Wyatt, thank you for being a friend.
You got a friend in me. Everybody, sing along. No, let's don't. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, I'll come see you at some point this month, and I'll bring you some country pleasing sausage. You realize that I have not been in that studio since February?
Yeah. Well, the world went crazy in late February, so it's okay.
Yeah,
understandable.
I sort of have a built-in excuse there. All right. Good to talk to you, man.
You too, Matt Wyatt.
All right. Shake a leg. Good old Beaver. He and I are now officially Facebook friends. And the show is officially underway on this Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. Your home team. Hometown heroes. Your local Farm Bureau insurance agents in all 82 counties. Right there, available to you, just a text message away 3 or 4 blocks over where they live, and they can come help you out. And that's the way it should be with everything. It's not the way it is with everything, but it is that way when you have your insurance with Farm Bureau and your local agent. All right, so phone lines, text lines, wide open to you today on this Wednesday, and some stuff to get into. A little bit of a change, and on the SEC schedule. We kind of hinted at it yesterday. They made it official today. You are going to have weather that's going to affect some stuff, obviously, so we'll get into that. There's high school football news out there, too, and you got baseball playoffs going on. So we'll see what we get into. Me, JB, and you. Most importantly, you. Thanks for tuning in. All right, hit me up on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN. It's a 601 number, 885-ESPN, or 885-3776. Call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer. 995-1059, 601 number, 995-1059. Coming to your texts in just a bit, Eric and Bill. Hey to everybody who's tuning in on the live stream. Yeah, I started the show by saying, well, and Percy on Periscope. Periscope Percy. A little alliteration for you. He said that's a deep, deep subject. Danny says, Hail State from Ringgold, Georgia. He gave us a call the other day. That was great. Lynn says, Hail State, nice shirt. It's actually, it's a jacket. I got cold, so I looked for the first jacket I could find and threw on my Mississippi State jacket. This is what they issued us for the broadcast crew. Probably, this might be 7-8 years old. I take care of that stuff now. I make it last. Joey's in Greenwood, watching on Facebook.
I'm an extra large.
You're
guy.
You're an XL?
Yeah. If you got any extras hanging around.
Well, hey, I'm not throwing an excuse at you, but I don't have any
double
XL.
X.
Yeah, everything I have is 2X unless it's a mistake.
Because you're so big, man.
Myron says, Hail State beat the Kitties, talking about those Wildcats up in Lexington this weekend. Dorothy is in Phoebe, Mississippi, tuning in. Y'all know where Phoebe is? I think Phoebe is in Oktibbeha County, isn't it? I know it's just outside of Starkville, out 389. I think it's in Oktibbeha County. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know. Joey on Facebook said, "Hey, Matt, we have an interesting game coming up here in the Delta on Friday. It's an academy against a public school for homecoming. Should be a good game. Pillow Academy versus J.Z. George." Says, "I know you like high school football. I thought it was cool for an academy playing a public school." Yeah, that happens some throughout the year. Who was it, JB? What, Taylorsville beat Prep this past week, huh?
Yeah, the Tartars. They got that fabulous, I think he's sophomore QB, Ty Keys.
Right.
Or a Tulane commit already.
Right. He's a heck of a ball player.
Yeah,
sure.
And they jumped out to a huge 28-0 lead, and Prep came back, and I actually led by a few points. And then Taylorsville closed them out there at the fourth quarter.
I got you. Okay, so a good ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was shocked at because I want to say they scored all 28 points in the first quarter.
Okay, how about that? Fireworks early and then just hang on. Hey, Rob on Facebook is letting me know that even though the Braves took game one of the NLDS yesterday, Rob is letting me know that the Miami Marlins have never lost a playoff series. Have they not? Of the ones they've been in, they've never lost one, huh? I guess so.
That's not what you wanted to hear, is it?
Well, there's a first time for everything, though. I fully believe that. Hey, Speaking of Miami, though, this is not baseball. This is football related, but listen to this. I saw this on Twitter, and it's almost like it's hard to wrap my head around it, JB. Listen to this. According to Clay Travis, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed off on allowing full stadiums for Miami Dolphins, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers games.
You know, and there were people that thought Governor Reeves taking away that mask enforcement was kind of crazy. That sounds even crazier to me. But I tell you what I think will happen, Matt, is that the NFL will nix that.
Well, I mean, they're
going to tell the owners, we're not going to do that. We're not going to be, and the owners then open themselves up for, I think you're right. Wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Well, at least, look at what's happening at the Patriots. The Patriots have shut it down.
Yeah. Titans. Titans have had to. Also, they had another player test, so they can't get in there. And, so all it takes is one positive test to totally alter the schedule because nobody knows how to handle the spread of it. And the only thing they know to do is if you get a positive test, just quarantine because we can't afford to spread it to other people, which makes sense. So, see, and I click on the link here, and according to Clay Travis on his website, this comes from a radio host in South Florida named Andy Slater, who's reporting that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has given clearance for Hard Rock Stadium to go full capacity of 65,000. Here's a quote that DeSantis spokesperson follows up with Slater wanting to make it clear that after the governor recently dropped COVID-19 restrictions, all Florida stadiums were able to go full capacity, which appears to clear the way for full attendance in Jacksonville and Tampa Bay. The Dolphins, according to Slater, say their plan is to stick to a 13,000 attendance capacity for their next home game against the Chargers. You got Hard Rock. Let's see, and they reference this. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced this week that attendance caps will raise to 12,000 at Bengals and Browns games. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, Governor Tom Wolf announced that 7,500 fans will be allowed to attend the Eagles-Steelers game in Pittsburgh this week. Tampa actually is scheduled to host the Super Bowl in February. But, so it's not some big news thing. It's basically a radio host in South Florida who's saying that they are hearing that they can open up to full capacity. And I'm like you, JB. I think right now, really anywhere in the country, even if the local government, the local state government says, yeah, you can fill it up, they're probably not going to.
Yeah, well, And I know you never want to be political, and I don't like being political either. I'm not a political person. If anything, I'm probably apolitical. Mm-hmm. But DeSantis this whole time has been kind of off his rocker with, all the kind of roller coasters that he's putting those people in Florida through with, social distancing, masking, and other things, and then coming out of it and going back in. So, I wouldn't put it past to be some kind of political ploy to say, because sometimes people do that, not just politicians, but people do it. They know they're going to be ultimately denied, so they say, well, this is my idea. I'm going to open up all the stadiums, knowing full well that the NFL is not going to
allow it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of playing both
making
ends.
Making the NFL look like the bad guy.
That's it. What do they call that? Playing both ends against the middle. Fans. Yeah. And basically, what is the word? The electorate on one side and the NFL on the other. I'll just get in the middle and play them both against each other. You're right. That's kind of what that sort of smells like right there. Okay, I got it wrong. Phoebe is not in Oktibbeha County. It's in Clay County. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, Jesse. Regarding the Marlins having never lost a playoff series, that'd be 97 and 2003. 97 when they won the World Series, and then again in 2003. Houston said, where are the Braves? They're actually at home right now. They played in Atlanta yesterday, play there again today. James on YouTube is asking, will Mississippi State beat Kentucky by 3 this weekend? When you ask me such a specific a question, I'm pretty sure it's a gambling question. Hey, Matt, are they going to beat them by 3? Are they going to beat them by 3? Well, I don't know. I think State's going to have its hands full now, and the weather to me is sort of a factor that is hard to know because we don't really know what the weather's going to do. But it is supposed to rain. But they are on artificial turf, which is a lot easier to run on, a lot easier to keep the ball dry when you're playing on artificial turf than real grass. So
latest projection I saw has that little cone that goes in and sways and moves to the right.
Yeah.
It's actually the center of it is going to be right over Lexington.
Yeah. But not on Saturday, just it's going to go over Lexington on like Sunday.
Late Saturday night, early Sunday morning.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to get rain. I mean, you're going to get rain.
Matter of fact, they have more rain in their forecast than we do, according to my app on my.
Is that right? So phone, so what? Maybe it moves fast through there and holds up the farther north it gets.
Yeah,
something like that.
In the adage with a hurricane is you get most of the rain on the east side and you get most of the wind on the west side. Is that not correct?
I have no idea.
I believe that's correct. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Some meteorologist will text the show, but I think that's correct. You get more rain on the let's say the right side of the hurricane.
If you're looking at the
map, more wind on the other side.
I got you. All right, over here, the first text that came into the show today here as we start on this Wednesday on the Country Pleasing text line 885 ESPN. Eric says everyone is a potential Facebook friend. Everyone. You're right. See, I took it a step farther. I wanted to make sure that Beaver would appreciate a Facebook request for me. Ben on Facebook says, if State was playing in inclement weather, could you see Leach putting Schrader in to try and have a run threat? I doubt it very seriously, Ben. Anytime it has rained during preseason practice, they make sure to go out and practice in it. I think they'll do what they do, either do it well or not. And rain or no rain or wind won't be an excuse. At least that's what I think. I'll be surprised if they do otherwise. Bully Bill says, regarding what I did to Beaver on the Facebook thing, he said, extortion at its finest. I love it. Hey, Beaver, get on the air with me here live. Will you accept my friend request on Facebook? He said, all you awesome folks cutting carbs, country pleasing, it's carbless, but for the pineapple, and it's worth it. Listen, I don't know what's in it. I just know this. I was down at one point about 40 pounds. Right now it's about 35 from where I started in February, and I literally literally eat country pleasing sausage 6 out of 7 mornings for breakfast as a part of my breakfast. I don't eat a lot of it, but I eat it every day. Miko on the country pleasing text line says, Matt, what adjustments will or can Leach and company make to offset the drop 8 in coverage schemes they'll likely face the rest of the way? Or do you think it was more to do with Costello pressing the ball into coverage? I can promise you this, Miko. Mike Leach said it again today. You know, we had the comment yesterday. Did I save that? Yeah. Here was the comment yesterday from Mike Leach about drop 8 in coverage.
Yeah, just be patient. Just be patient. Put it in place. Stretch the field, but you have to do it aggressively. The guys away from the ball have to push and stretch the field also. I mean, and then, of course, run the ball, be more consistently strong up front as far as moving the pile, that type of thing, Consistency, I think, would be the best way to put it. I mean, but, you got to understand, we're out of business decades ago if drop 8's some secret deal.
He reiterated that today in the teleconference, his quote, we'd have been out of business 20 years ago if it was a big problem. It's nothing new. We have a misstep, and everybody thinks it's something new. Well, that's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous to think that the offense isn't designed to work against it. It is. You just have to make it work. And they've got to play better. You might watch my film study. I posted some plays that kind of illustrate that. It's on the YouTube channel. Stick around.
Malone Roofing Shingle.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing Sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make.
Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone.
Brian on Twitter sent me a tweet. I'm Radio Wyatt. You can tweet me also if you want. Brian tweeted me. He said, people that want Leach to play Schrader and do quarterback run football or adapt to run more haven't done their homework on Leach. Read his book. Watch YouTube on his old teams. They will continue to pass and run with the running back. Have to be accurate. Hit the underneath better. And I agree with that. Man, they had a lot of people open at times, and I've at times they hit it, but just not consistent enough throughout the game. One thing that I think, if you go back and watch the film, which I did, and again, quarterbacks, offenses, a lot of times they'll have aha moments in certain film sessions. I know what that feels like, and it's kind of bittersweet because you look at it and go, oh man, it was so simple. There were 5 times in a game I had so-and-so open and I just didn't get it to him or whatever. But in that game, Arkansas, they covered a lot in the middle. Obviously, they drop, take away the deep stuff. They come up and smash the running back if you dumped it off underneath. They were giving you a lot of out routes to the sidelines. And there was several times that you had either the stop go or the read go on the outside, or just a called speed out at 10 or 12. And they were actually giving you those throws if you would take it, thinking that, they might try to get a hand on it or that you couldn't get it in there. I thought they did a pretty good job of, in their coverages, they'd have a defender, a zone defender that seemed as if he's kind of underneath that sideline throw, but he really wasn't underneath the throw. He really wasn't going to affect it, but I think he affected the view of the quarterback. And then some of that, too, is they did have, at times, too much pressure that they were giving up against a 3-man rush. It wasn't, throughout the whole game, and it wasn't like wholesale, come get the quarterback. But there were, I think, far too many times where he had to unload it because pressure's coming, or he couldn't step into and really juice that throw to the sideline like you want to because here comes somebody in his face. And I think for a 3-man rush a lot against 5 guys, that happened a little too much in the ball game, if you ask me. So I think there was a lot there. And I think you're right about that, is they're not going to change what they do. I mean, what did he say? He said, well, yesterday, they're talking about Kentucky. They're going to run it, and we're going to throw it. I mean, they may change what they do, but we're not changing what we do. Unnamed texter, thank you, on the Country Pleasin' Sausage text line. Says, Copiah Academy had to play East Marion last Friday for homecoming because their scheduled team backed out due to COVID. And Copiah rolled them 37-8. I missed that score. I didn't realize that's what it was. All right, let's hook it up over here on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. In fact, Davini, right here at home, is the oldest Kubota dealer in the U.S. They've been doing it better, longer than anyone else. Highway 51 Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson. It's great when there are multiple folks hanging on the line all at one time. We can just have a little conversation. Appreciate y'all pulling up a chair to the table and having a seat and joining us here. First up, Chicken Hawk. What's up?
Hey, Bubba, look here. Hail State. Now, see, you know me. I like to, just keep people in suspense because like I told Dr. Brother Brojo, I know there's probably folks just been talking saying, yeah, that loud-mouthed rascal talks all that junk, rings him cowbells at work and all that kind of junk while he's driving his 18-wheeler, because we got beat. But here's the first thing. I'm going to give you my analysis on what happened. You know what happened? Huh?
What happened?
We got beat. How about that?
Yeah.
But, look, now, hey, really, this is my analysis, really. Now, you got to take this as my, he tried to throw it, they had the windows there, so you got a picture of window. You got a boy over here, a boy over there. He tried to, what you sometimes call threading the needle, but he just kept forcing the ball. KJ did, you know what I mean? Just kept forcing the ball. And you can't throw it if it ain't there. You're a quarterback. I was a dumb lineman and a punter and a kicker. So, but I know that, you know what I'm saying? But, we got to learn, I guarantee their tongues run out because the Pirates probably had them running every one of them plays that they should have had. And when you whoop somebody with statistics, well, that ain't worth a flip. You throw all that up in the garbage can. When you got 4 turnovers, you finna get your butt whooped, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. Most times, that's right.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to call in. I just was curious, so I was just gonna jump out there right quick with that double knuckle curve spitball.
Yeah.
But nobody got no basketball glove like you because they don't know the. They
Chicken
don't know
Hawk,
that
I like your analysis. I mean, I think it's accurate. Sometimes they just beat you, and the execution wasn't quite there. I think it's interesting to me how big a deal people are making out of Arkansas's scheme on defense instead of, some nights you just go out and you don't do your own job. And that's kind of what the problem was. It wasn't necessarily what Arkansas was doing, but people are making a big deal out of it for sure.
Well, like you said, it really wasn't what they were doing. It was actually what we weren't doing.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. I agree.
We wasn't doing what we were supposed to be doing. If we'd have been, there were some plays there.
Yeah.
And then, the turnovers will beat you every doggone. You hardly ever gonna win a game when you lose the turnover battle.
Mm-hmm. Right. And State still had a chance to win the game. They got the football, and we're going to get it again. And, so you're right. The turnovers really killed them for sure.
Yeah, when you just give somebody, say, here, okay, it's yours. We're going to go to the house. We'll wait till next week. Hey, what they going to do? They going to take it. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, though, I'm proud of them, though. I'm proud of them. I'll be back there ringing that cowbell at the ATM game. I'll be there burning up.
Attaboy.
Gotta have my Cool-Ray reflectable California chip motorcycle highway patrol. Look at yourself, sunglasses on, and then have me a big floppy hat so I don't get this beautiful complexion burnt. And I love you, and I love Dr. Brother Brojo, and all you school up northers. Hey, y'all just have yourself a big time, because you know what? It ain't over until Thanksgiving. That's when it really gets over. It's Thanksgiving. Don't kick y'all's butt. Y'all got a win last week. Hey, praise be to you school up northers. Hey, that's all I can say. I'm a man, and we got beat. Y'all won, so. But I will do this for you school up northers. I'm gonna spell Forest one more time. Forest, Forest for you school up northern, you children. And here's one more thing for y'all. Hashtag Hail State.
See ya. Chicken Hawk out. When he said, we're going to kick y'all's butt. And pretty plain language. Logan hanging on the Davini Equipment phone line. What's up, Logan? Hey, Logan, turn your radio down and then talk to me on the phone. He's listening to the end of his call. Hey, Logan, you there? Logan? Try us again, Logan. Try us again another time. He said, we're going to kick y'all's butt. I didn't know this. I didn't know. Somebody said that Atlanta has been playing in Houston. Okay, so they're playing in Houston. I did not know that.
The Yankees and the Rays are playing at Petco Park.
Okay.
Yeah, you figured that Hunter Renfroe might have found some friendly confines there.
Right.
Again.
Yeah, he's familiar, isn't he? He hit a few out there on top of that building out in left field during his time out there. Tatted Brad on the Country Please Him text line says, Matt, should I be more worried about Tennessee this Saturday than I was Auburn or no? Hashtag go dogs. Well, look, I know that some people think that. Maybe so. I thought Auburn was a little stronger than they showed against Georgia. I just think Georgia's defense is that good. And, I think Tennessee a little better on offense. Tennessee's offensive line may be the reason, Brad, that they have a couple of spurts where they are more competitive in the game than Auburn was because of that offensive line. Senior quarterback, kind of been around the block for Tennessee. But Georgia still is going to overwhelm Tennessee with their athletes, especially on defense. Does Tennessee go out there and score 21 points? No. So you're saying, should you be more worried about losing? No, you're not losing the game. Worried about maybe they move the ball a little more than Auburn? Well, probably so. Probably because of their offensive line. But Georgia's going to win that ball game. I do know that the Jeremy Pruitt versus Kirby Smart thing is really interesting to me. I mean, out in public, it looks like friends. I don't know that that's necessarily the case. Not that you would ever find out otherwise, but I always keep an eye on that. Ready, Teddy? Teddy Vegas will answer for you. State wins outright. I am not a homer. I'm an Ole Miss guy. And that's so if you're an Ole Miss guy, Teddy, and that's coming from your perspective, I guess, of having seen Kentucky this past week, is that it? Kentucky's offense largely dependent on a run. It can run it. They make no bones of who they are. The same way State makes no bones of who they are throwing a ball, Kentucky runs it, and they know it. They're the number one rushing offense through 2 games in the SEC. State's defense has been pretty good. They're the number 2 total defense, right behind Georgia in the SEC through 2 games. And, if State can put some points up, it may be interesting.
Let nothing stand between you and the tree stand with this great offer on the fast, durable Kubota
Farm
sire.
Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing Sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from there. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine.
Wyatt Show. On 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back at you. Y'all feel free to call me, text me, whatever the case is, comment on the live stream, that'll be fine. Danny, who's watching the show today on Facebook, said Chicken Hawk needs to loosen up a little. Greg on Periscope complimented him. He said, way to call it, Chicken Hawk. Charlie over watching on the YouTube live stream said, Coach Leach should put up a sign everywhere around the football complex that says, quote, do your job. And that should just be your mantra going forward. Didn't you get that from the Patriots and Bill Belichick? Hey, JB, you didn't happen to catch any of the recent Bill Belichick press conference that was the audio that's making the rounds, did you?
I have. I sure have.
Where he's like, he's always short with reporters, but this one, for some reason, it sort of cracks me up. It's over the phone. Right, I guess Zoom or over the phone or whatever, and they just lost to the Chiefs and weird thing, didn't have Cam Newton and all this kind of stuff. And they're asking him about why he wore 2 masks during the game. Listen to this exchange between he and the reporter.
Bill, I was wondering, I noticed wearing the 2 masks in the game last night, and I was wondering if is that a result of Cam's positive test, and are you, because of your age and where you fall into the high-risk category, are you concerned about coaching and being involved in that?
No.
So then why the 2 masks?
Basically, that's what we've been instructed to do.
First time I heard that, I felt like there was going to be a sound of a fist hitting a face. Because he just waited for a minute like, Are you really asking me this?
Yeah. Are you concerned because of your age and you're more at risk? Yeah. No. One word answer, no.
Well, it's funny because I was watching the 30 for 30 last night of the 2 Bills, Bill Parcells and Belichick. Mm. And they were, I marvel at both those dudes, but Belichick more than Parcells. It's just, because they had pictures of him and video of him rolling in the grass with his kids and his grandkids and stuff, and going, who is that?
Isn't that something? Yeah, it's like split personality. I think he's really a great guy to people that know him personally. That's what they.
Yeah, it's like, are you schizophrenic? No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
He gets laser focused. What was it on that movie Bill Murray was in? What About Bob? Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm a schizophrenic, and so am I. Hey, Coach Belichick, what about making the excuse you didn't have your quarterback and all?
Bill, last night after the game, your players to a man said that they didn't want to use the excuse of the craziness of the previous days, the last-minute schedule change, the way, the same-day travel. Were they echoing a specific thing that you guys had preached as a coaching staff? Is that something you've noticed from them on their own, or just how did you feel about that they all said that?
Well, if that's the way they felt, then that's the way they felt. I think you should ask them about it. I mean, I'm not going to speak for any of them.
But for your feeling on knowing that they didn't want to fall back on that as an excuse, did you spread that message at all, going into that game, not looking for excuses? Because they would have been built in. I mean, you guys faced a lot in those couple days.
We never make excuses. We don't make excuses about anything. Period. That's not what we do. We don't make excuses.
Period. But let me say it again for you one more time. Print that in your paper. We don't make excuses. Hey, let's do a head-to-head matchup preview, shall we? The head-to-head matchup preview. This one is Tennessee and Georgia over at Winsipedia.com. All right, and I chose Rocky Top because it's cooler sounding than Georgia's Glory for All Georgia. I mean, it just sounds cooler. How about this one? Georgia and Tennessee this weekend. This is let's see here. That'd be 50. Minus 1, minus 2, 53rd. No, that'd be 47, 40. This will be the 49th? Do I have that right? Yes, this will be... No, this will be the 50th. This will be the 50th all-time... It took me a minute. All-time meeting between Georgia...
Common Core math, huh?
It just takes me a while.
23,
numbers.
47.
The problem is I don't have 50 fingers. I'd have gotten to it real quick if I had 50 fingers. Okay. This will be the 50th matchup between Georgia and Tennessee. Isn't that crazy? You think about Georgia, Tennessee, SEC East, you would think hundreds of times they played, right? Georgia and Auburn have played well over 100 times, whatever it is. Well, longest going rivalry in football or something like that. You think about Alabama, Tennessee. Well, these two, Georgia and Tennessee, just the 50th meeting all time, according to Winsipedia. That's Winsipedia.com. Wins, the letter I, pedia.com. You can take any two teams in the country, compare them, look at the all-time series, see the timeline, and then look at individual things about each school also. It's a really neat resource. Here's the kicker. All-time series, Georgia leads 24-23. 24-23 all-time. Tennessee can pull the upset and tie the all-time series, or Georgia can extend it. They're only one game ahead. How about that? There's two ties listed in the history of the matchup. I think I found one here. That's in 1968. Doug Dickey was the coach at Tennessee. Vince Dooley at Georgia. They tied in Knoxville in 1968, 17-17. How far back do I have to go to find the other tie? We go 1906. In 1906, they tied each other in Athens 0-0. That's like that Mississippi State spring game when Sylvester Croom was the coach. JB, they had a spring game. It was on television, live television broadcast, and Jim Ellis and I were the announcers for the TV broadcast on CSS of the Mississippi State spring game on TV. A spring game that ended with no points being scored. None. Can you imagine calling that on TV? True story, though.
You'd lighten up the scoreboard, huh?
Right. I guess
you got to, according to the phrase that I coined today from the Brooks Show, you got to get up to get down.
That's about they couldn't get up, so they couldn't get down either. But they didn't play each other a ton. I mean, there are long stretches in this history between Georgia and Tennessee where they didn't even play each other. Like, for instance, starting in 1938, there was a 30-year streak of not playing each other until that tie game in 68. 30 years they didn't play each other right there. There was a long stretch in the 70s. There was a long stretch in the 80s. They didn't play each other, but obviously they started playing each other in 92, and because of the divisions, and they played each other ever since, every year. Tennessee had a lot of dominance in this series in the 90s, and Georgia flipped it on them and has pretty much, for the most part, owned it in the 2000s. And in the most recent decade, I guess Georgia has won, 8 out of the last 10, including 3 in a row. Last year, Georgia beat Tennessee 43-14. 2 years ago, beat them 38-12. 3 years ago, beat them 41-0. So, like earlier, we had a Georgia fan asking if he should be worried. I still think Georgia wins the game. But truthfully, this may be the first semi-competitive game they've had in 4 years.
I'm going with the Vols.
You picking the upset, huh?
I'm picking the Vols because they are the Buffalo Bills of the SEC to me this year.
Okay. Meaning?
I mean, the Bills are 4-0. When was the last time the Bills were 4-0?
Yeah, right.
Was OJ on the team? No, I'm just kidding.
It might have to be.
It would have been back during the 90s.
Yeah, during the Jim
Kelly and the crew.
Right.
But no, this is the first year that they really, really look good, man.
Yeah. Let's see here.
So that's what I'm saying about Tennessee.
Okay, so you're picking
Not to
Tennessee.
mention the coaching tree from Sabanites.
Right.
You got 2 of them going at
2 of them. There's something about Jeremy Pruitt. He certainly does not come across as the slickest character when he does a press conference or anything. But, I watched that team, the way they responded last year after losing that season opener to Georgia Southern at home and then losing in overtime to BYU and everybody telling them that nothing has changed. And after that, they pulled it together and played better and better and better week after week. And they ended the year on a win streak, but it wasn't like they beat a bunch of good teams. They didn't. But they beat the teams they had to, and they just seemed to pull it together. They had kind of the right look to them in terms of chemistry. So we'll see. How about this? Sven, who picked the upset in week 1, stayed over LSU. He's picking the Vols too, JB. He says Tennessee's going to win 21-17.
Sven's a smart comrade.
Largest margin of victory in the series for Georgia. They beat Tennessee 44-0 back in 1981. Had a 5-game win streak from 1909 to 1924. I said that Tennessee dominated this thing in the 90s. They did. Tennessee beat Georgia 9 straight games from 1989 to 1999. I mean, no wonder when Georgia finally won in there, the announcer got all excited and said we stepped on their face with a hobnail boot. No wonder. It's been a while.
Hey, man, that's a quick first hour.
I'm talking.
And I want to congratulate you and Beav on becoming Facebook friends.
It's about time, huh? It's now official. We're really friends now because of Facebook. All right, hour 2, right around the corner. Stick around.
Hey, folks. Nick.
I'm actually going to head up to Biggersville up in Alcorn County tonight. 1A Biggersville. They're 2-0 this year. Scored 60 points in their ball game last week, so they're off to a really good start. Been by there a bunch. You can see the school and the field from the highway. There's a school, a water tower, a barbecue place, and a Dollar General, and a lot of really good folks.
I started at Biggerville in the 2nd grade in 1966, and I've been here since the 2nd grade. So people in Biggerville have been so good to me. And the good Lord, I'm just really blessed by what I've been able to experience. After school Thursday, there was 28 kids out there, and we counted the orders after. We're just blessed to support the school, and they sure support me.
This is the busy night, like the everyone's coming.
It's a close-knit community. I mean, they love the kids, and Like I said, I've been in Biggerville for 60 years, and it's just a great place. I mean, great place to raise your family and kids and support the school.
Smithville, who's always kind of been a 1A powerhouse, hasn't played yet this year. They haven't been able to really even practice as much because of COVID. So kind of an interesting dynamic because Biggersville has never beaten Smithville. At least that's what I'm told. So it's actually a huge opportunity for that community.
I was supposed to stay next week. Hamburger and Monday. Coke. You got any chips?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's game between the Biggersville Lions and the Smithville Seminoles. And what a game we have in store tonight as the 2-0 Lions take on the 0-0 Smithville Seminoles.
Well, let's see if the Lions can get their run game going with senior number 23, Goldman Butler.
So tonight's matchup getting ready to take place as the Biggersville Lions won the toss. They have elected to defer to the second half. We thank you all for tuning in to tonight's ball game.
Of course, Smithville brings tradition that people long for, and that's kind of what we long for here. You know, again, we're building it, but they've kind of set the standard, especially in 1A in North Mississippi and across Mississippi in general. So yeah, it's exciting. To my knowledge, they've told me we've never beaten them. So what an accomplishment that would be, and that's what we shoot for, and just to kind of set the tone for the whole season for bigger and better things, hopefully.
Bowler got a couple of blocks. He's going to bust through. He's going to break free. One man to beat. Breaking tackle. And will finally get pushed out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. So a great job right there for the Biggersville Lions. Rousey shotgun takes snap and hands it off to Butler once again. Butler up the middle. Got some blocks. Going to be handed off to Butler. Round to the left side, and he'll bust into the end zone. Bowler around to the left side, and he'll walk into the end zone once again. As the Lions would take a commanding 14-0 lead early on here in this ball game.
There, baby. That looks great. Way to go. Great. Good call. Good job, guys. Good. Way to go.
It's a hometown. It's just a big family. Everybody here knows everybody. Friday nights over the last 4 or 5 years has just increasingly become more and more exciting. You know, our team, these kids have grown to start in 8th grade and 9th grade as freshmen and played a lot of football and come a long way. This is a pretty good crowd. You know, we were limited on the number of tickets we can sell, so obviously normally there would be a lot more people here. But yeah, they definitely got a good crowd tonight.
Take snap, and they're going to go to the air. They're going to throw deep. They might have a man. Intercepted again.
By number 8, Jarrell Jones. That's the second pick of the game.
2 3-and-outs, 2 interceptions for the Lions. They are turning on all cylinders tonight here, Devin, as they will get the ball back once again. Another opportunity here to score. Here is the clock going to tick down 2-0. The Lions are going to take a dominant victory over the Smithville Seminoles, 64-0.
And I do think that this could be the Lions year as they show dominance in their first 3 games, but it's still pretty early.
A great game tonight for the Biggersville Lions. We thank you all for joining us here. Signing off from the Lions Den. The final score is 64-0. The Biggersville Lions win. This is Lions sportscaster Aiden McAllister, joined with me by Devin Bullock. We thank you all for joining in. Thank you and have a good night.
WRKS Pickens Jackson. It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show. Live in the studio. Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's start it off here, hour number 2 with you on this Humpday, Wednesday, middle of the week. You made it to the middle of the week. One day closer to the weekend when you're going to get games here and there, maybe some soggy ones. You're one day closer to a lot of high school games because many of those got moved up to Thursday. A lot of schools have fall break, and so they're playing Thursday games for that reason, but many others moved it up to Thursday for weather purposes. It's also a time to take a look ahead. Stop looking back so much as look ahead and see what times and channels and things like that for some of the matchups coming up this weekend. So we'll do all that beginning here in hour number 2 of the show. And you're in luck. You're going to get all that because you're tuned in. And you can be a part of the show. Maybe we're in luck because you're tuned in. I think that's more like it. And you can be a part of the show. Lots of ways for you to do it. Here you go. Text me on the Country Pleasing text line 885-ESPN. 601 number 885-ESPN. The number itself, 885-3776. So text me. That's the Country Pleasing Sausage text line. Also, call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer. Here's the number to call me on the Davini phone, 995-1059, 601-995-1059. Also, if you're watching the live stream, just type it in. I'll see it. Sven was reminding us, by the way, on the YouTube live stream, JB, he says, I'm not smart. I picked State over Arkansas.
Well,
still hiding.
So did half of America.
Yeah, win some, lose some, right?
Well, maybe 49 states chose Mississippi State over Arkansas.
Yeah, right. That's about right. That's about right. You can also tweet me. I'm over there at Radio Wyatt, so tweet me. Let me know what you think. I got to say, this is really funny. JB, this is really funny. All right.
But you know I like to laugh.
Was it you or Jake? Who was it yesterday that said that Chris Brooks left his notes?
Oh no, he left his
rundown
show sheet. Yeah, his show prep sheet.
Yeah.
He left it in here, and Jake used it in the second hour yesterday of his show.
Okay, well, I don't know. We have the official, unofficial copy of it. It has made its way to Twitter. A copy in his own handwriting of the Chris Brooks show prep from today. We're not talking about yesterday. Apparently, he left it today. And it has made its way to Twitter. The Real C has taken a picture with his phone and he snapped a photo and has tweeted it out. He tagged me, he tagged Jake, and he tagged Chris Brooks at MS Gridiron. The picture of Chris's notes for show prep today, and he has it numbered. And here's what it is. At the very top of the sheet, he had written, and you can see his own handwriting. It says October the 7th, show prep. Now, he doodled a little sunflower up in the top right corner, so he was doodling at some point during the show. Number 1, college football and weather. Number 2, he just wrote down the word nah. Number 3, it says pimp the kids fundraiser. Number 4, it says long commercial break, pee break. Number 5, it says Facebook friend official. These are the show prep notes that somebody found from Chris Brooks in the show today on the Gridiron. Number 6, it just says kind of bored. And number 7, the final show prep note says ride it out till the end. At the bottom, he wrote his name, Chris Brooks, and then he wrote the word the over it. The Chris Brooks, hashtag the greatest. Now, I can't confirm that that's the actual show notes.
No, I don't think it is. I think Real C's trying to throw some shade.
Yeah, well, he definitely is. He definitely is. He definitely is, and it definitely is fake. But I just thought that I would just give us a run of it there.
I love it. I love the
Number 6,
flower.
kind of bored. Number 7, ride it out to the end. Real C, not letting up.
No, basically what he did is he broke those shows that showdown into 7 segments.
He broke it down. He listened. Here's the thing about it that is maybe funnier than the note, the forged note itself, is that Real C listened to the entire gridiron and wrote down in funny quips what was going on the show.
Well, and Real C is a math guy, and so Chris, I don't know that Brooks is really a math guy, but if you look at the date 10/07, only real math people are going to put that 0.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We're all just going to write 10/7.
Yeah.
Or October 7th.
But Real C's a meticulous mathematician. He has to be. So,
he has to be. Hey, let me go over here to the text line. Here's some stuff for you. JC, or not JB, but JC earlier in the show texted and he said, Matt, loved your video on the drop 8. Lots of misreads. Offense worked. MSU didn't execute. That's kind of it. I mean, there was a lot of the game where the offense was working. But I think you say, okay, didn't execute. I think a lot of it too, JC, to me looked like a group of players, quarterback, receiver, who's got to go out and make these zone rules work against a live opponent who had a pretty good plan. And, there was a time where, we're 10 feet off or we're a couple of yards off or the throw's about 2 feet off. And that's what I meant by continuity. There's a certain precision that they were kind of lacking at times, not throughout, but at times, and it just held them back. They didn't get any explosive plays. They were playing with inexperienced backs versus an experienced one, all that kind of stuff. But JC said, I think KJ will be better with more game reps, and Kylan coming back will open up the run or cause more down linemen to rush. He says, I'm not worried. Yeah, anytime you go out and you lose and they're not able to adjust to it in the game, it causes you to worry. And you're going to see a little bit of everything from everybody. It really is about like how clued in are you on exactly how you're going to run certain plays. I mean, if it's vague, you're going to go into a game and it may work, it may not. But if you and the receiver and everybody absolutely know exactly how you're going to make this play work, then it'll work. Do they get there this week? They better. Eric texted us. He said, Matt, did you ever let Jeremy Pruitt get a sack or interception off of you? I hope not. No. Now, Kirby got a sack in the Georgia game, but I don't think I played against Jeremy. Did he play? Lynn sent me a screenshot. It says State's new motto. It's a maroon like screensaver on a phone with a skull and crossbones and letters that say simply, throw the ball. Is that the new motto? Bully Bill says OJ on the team. I don't know. They've had their share of killer seasons. Yeah, we were talking about the Bills, and so they might have had a 4-0 back. Here's the answer. Chris looked it up for us. JB's reference to the last time the Bills started 4-0. Chris looked it up, sent us a screenshot. The Buffalo Bills 4-0 for the first time since 1992, where they were on their way to their third or fourth straight Super Bowls. So 92. That's right. Jim Kelly. We got that part right. Bill says, hey guys, speaking of the coaching tree, does Don James get credit for that matchup as well? Which one? You talking about Kirby and Pruitt? Don James? Who's Don James? I don't know.
Former head coach at University of Washington.
Okay. Which one are we talking about, though? I mean, like, which, or were we talking about? We were talking about Kirby and, heck, man, I don't know. Help us out, Bill. Norman says, Matt. Coffee Norman. Speaking of coffee, hot coffee in my mug from High Point Roasters in New Albany. The best. HighPointRoasters.com. Order it. Shows up on your doorstep. Go to town. Norman says, Matt.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Coffee Norman says, Matt, what will be the thinking going ahead if the offense struggles again versus Kentucky and a zone-type defense? And do you expect the state defense to hold up okay against the Kentucky rush game? In terms of expecting it to hold up well, I kind of do. They were able to physically hold up well against these last two teams, including an LSU team that, had good back and everything. So they've done a good job against the run. And unlike the other two, Norman, this is a game where they're really going to be focused on the run. The last two you couldn't just really zero in on it. I think they will be. So I think they'll be effective to a degree, and it's just a matter of, who executes here in the third week. And you go on the road, the offense has got to show up and put some points on the board for you. And the biggest thing, too, finish drives. That came up on yesterday's show also, and it's very, very, very true. Every drive has to end in a kick, either a punt or a field goal or an extra point. Drives that don't end in punts are bad. Turnover on downs, fumbles, interceptions. And they had a bunch of unfinished drives in the game the other night. If you just don't turn it over and they stop you and you punt, that's better than, an interception or turnover, field position things, and that really hurt your defense. What were you going to say about Pruitt? So he coached under that guy?
He's from Rainsville, Alabama, and was recruited and went and played at Middle Tennessee State as a quarterback.
Okay.
But halfway through his freshman year, they switched him to D-back. And so his sophomore year, he transferred to Alabama, where he played and was on the Gene Stallings team, 9 games his junior season, and was a member of the 1995 Alabama squad. His senior season, they won the Outback Bowl. And from there on, he began his coaching career.
Okay. So he did play on the 95 team. So I would have been
95 and 96.
Okay, well, so he would have been on the team. We beat him in 96 in Starkville. And they beat us in 95 in Tuscaloosa. In a cold, windy ball game in Tuscaloosa. Low scoring. It was freezing that particular day in 95.
That's a flashback, but here's one even more of a flashback. He began his coaching career as a grad assistant on the 97 Alabama team, where he worked under defensive back coach Curly Hallman.
How about that? Yeah. We beat that 97 team in Alabama. They were not very good. That was very much a down year. They won 4 or 5 games that year. Remember our game against them late in the year in Tuscaloosa, and J.J. Johnson just went off. We just kept handing him the ball, and there was nothing they could do about it. I forget the score, though. Maybe it was like 35-20. And in those days, that was kind of a blowout. Score.
Yeah. 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that score made that game sound a lot closer than it really was. Delta Dog on the Country Pleasing text line says, has the Ole Miss Alabama game been rescheduled? Not that I know of. Now, I've got Twitter popped up over here, and if it's come through, I've missed it, but I haven't seen anything that says it's rescheduled. I do know that right now, Delta Dog, they are in the path. Oxford right in the path of this storm that's supposed to come up through there and wet everything. If you're Ole Miss, heck, man, you may want to play in that deal. You may want to play, and you're going to play Alabama. Let's play them on a wet field. Chances are slim on a dry field. Let's see what happens on a wet field with a wet ball. Hey, you're the underdog. I'd say the nastier in the game, the weather, and the uglier the game, the better. So, yeah, right now that one is still on. Saturday, 5 p.m. Central on ESPN. Let's look at that real quick. These are the SEC time slots. You probably already know a bunch of these, but let me just throw it in there. 11 a.m. game on the SEC network is South Carolina at Vandy. 11 a.m. game on ESPN is Florida at Texas A&M. 2:30 CBS is Tennessee, Georgia in Athens. 3 o'clock on the SEC network is Arkansas at Auburn. 5 o'clock on ESPN, as I said, is Alabama at Ole Miss. It'll be the broadcast crew, Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Todd McShay, Molly McGrath. Okay, 6:30 Central Time. Mississippi State at Kentucky on the SEC Network. That'll be Cole Kublik and those guys. And then 8 o'clock Saturday. Well, I'm sorry, that one's been moved. This we do know, and I skipped over it because the LSU-Missouri game that was going to take place in Baton Rouge, because of the storm Hurricane Delta, is now being moved to Columbia, Missouri at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. Now, as far as how that affects television, I don't know. I have to look that up and see. I don't know if that's an alternate thing or if there's another way that they're going to do that, because you already have games scheduled on SEC Network and ESPN. But I did see that it's changed. And the note yesterday that we brought up on the show, which is just incredible to me. I mean, it's just, I guess I got 4 minutes to illustrate this point for the 100th time. But the scheduling rotation in the SEC is just ludicrous. The fact that Missouri has been in the SEC since 2012, yet, JB, this will be the first time that LSU has played a game in Columbia, Missouri.
Well, I can tell you this. I thought about going to Missouri out of high school just because of broadcasting, but didn't really afford it. And got a chance to play a little JUCO ball and sit on the bench for a couple of years. But all that to say, I have a keychain that I bought at Columbia on campus that's in my pocket right now. That was 41 years ago.
41 years ago. How about that?
It's an initial, my first name, John. It's a J. And so that the hook on the J fits perfectly on my pocket on the side.
Yeah.
And I've kept that keychain for 41 years.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And that's where it came from.
Yeah, it's a way back Wednesday story.
There you go. You jumped in a time machine. No, I mean, this is, how about this? All right, LSU and Missouri have played each other twice all time. Missouri has one win. LSU has one win. Now get this. In 2016, LSU beat Missouri in Baton Rouge 42-7. In 1978, Missouri beat LSU in Memphis. I'm assuming that's a bowl game, 20-15. That's the only two times they've ever played.
It's probably when Missouri was still part of the old Big Eight.
Yeah. Man, listen, I'm just telling you, how many more examples, how many different illustrations do we have to have for just how stupid, how utterly stupid this schedule rotation we've had in the SEC is? I understand that it was a challenge when you went from 12 teams to 14 and you brought in Missouri and Texas A&M. I understand it was a challenge to figure it out. We have unevens. I mean, we got odd number teams in divisions now instead of evens. And Missouri is way out west, but we can't put two teams in the west because we don't want to put Auburn in the east, because if we put them in the east, now, according to our rules that we have, Auburn would have to have a cross-division rival. It would definitely be Alabama. It would definitely be but if Alabama and Auburn are cross-division rivals, what's Alabama going to do with Tennessee? Because Alabama's got to play Tennessee every year. See, I understand it was a challenge, but the idea that you couldn't figure out something better than this to facilitate a better schedule with the athletes and the teams and the fan bases in mind that has an even rotation, or a more even and more regular, more frequent rotation. But instead, just like they have always done, the Southeastern Conference is, I don't know, they lean towards Alabama and they sort of sway towards Auburn. And the offices are in Birmingham. Alabama and Auburn get what they want and always have. Okay, but let's don't call it right or wrong. Let's just say fact is. Fact is, that's a fact. So.
And you're saying that as a native Alabaman.
As a native Alabaman. It is what
Alabamian.
Here we go. It is what it is. Okay, it's a fact. So, the entire Southeastern Conference football schedule is fouled up and convoluted and absurd and held hostage by Alabama's need to play Tennessee every year and Alabama's need to play Auburn every year and Auburn's need to play Georgia every year. That's it. There it is. The Iron Bowl must happen every year, but also Alabama and Tennessee must happen every year. That's why we have permanent cross-division rivals. When they went to divisions in 92, well, Alabama's got to play Tennessee we can't rotate it evenly. Let's make everybody have a permanent cross-division rival. That's why for years they've been shoving it down your throat. Mississippi State and Kentucky are cross-division rivals. Bull! No, they're not. I don't care what you call it. Put a label on it. Put a title on it. I don't care. But it's not a rival. Well, we're going to throw Ole Miss a bone, and they're going to play Vandy every year, cross-division rival. They don't care. Neither of those schools care to play each other every year. I mean, for Pete's sake, Texas A&M and South Carolina are permanent cross-division rivals. It's the biggest joke of a scheduling rotation, all because Alabama and Auburn must get what they want. Who cares what happens with the rest of the league and their players and their fan bases? And so for that reason, Missouri, a member of the SEC since 2012, because of a hurricane, is going to host LSU for the first time. Find me a better example of how stupid this holding the league hostage because of the third Saturday in October is from the league offices. Fix it. Fix it. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' Sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from there. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first.
It's the Matt Wyatt Show. Live in the studio. Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right, back on the show, rolling along in hour number 2 in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. Y'all text me on the Country Pleasin' text line. Call me on the Davini phone at 995-1059. Hey, JB, I think I may steal an idea off of this fake gridiron show prep note that's circulating around on the internet.
Yeah, what you gonna do, pal?
Well, I'm fond of the nah segment. Yeah. This alleges that Chris Brooks, for number 2 on his list, just wrote down nah. So whatever he was thinking about,
Well, it's nah about Kevin Na.
Yeah, right. The golfer.
Yeah.
He just wrote nah. And I thought, okay, well, let's do a segment every day, the nah segment, where we just spend time coming up with potentially new ideas. We flesh it out, and then we collectively just go, nah, and then move on to the next one. It is a segment called Nah, where we just shoot stuff down. I mean, it'd be a great time filler, wouldn't it? Anyway, you boys are having a good time with that. Thanks, Real C, for sending it. I'm glad that Chris is the kind of guy who can have fun with himself and kind of laugh at him. If we can't laugh at ourselves, Chris, what can we laugh at, right? Now, this is an idea that I picked up from the Gridiron with Chris Brooks also, and that is to take a peek at whatever national day it is. There's a website out there that's the National Day Calendar, and every day of the year, pretty much every day of the year, is National something day. Well, October the 7th has a bunch of them. I don't know how, I don't know why. Let me just give them to you, okay? October 7th, National Pumpkin Seed Day. All right.
Doesn't do much for me.
National Walk to School Day.
Definitely doesn't do much for me.
Okay. National Frappe Day.
I don't do frappes.
Wait, you said frappe. I say
Yeah,
frappe.
Yeah,
it's like crappy or
frappe.
crappie.
Or tomato.
Mm-hmm. National Inner Beauty Day. See, I think that's my day. National Inner Beauty Day.
Makes me want to hear that Kevin Love commercial again.
Goose fraba. Makes me want to hear that Ray Stevens song. Everything is beautiful.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the streak.
No, not
when
that.
You talk about your inner beauty. Overlook Ethel.
This is weird. National LED Light Day. National Coffee with a Cop Day. Okay. I'm going to take some coffee to a cop.
Don't forget the donut.
Exactly. Tomorrow's probably National Donut Day. National Chocolate Covered Pretzel Day. Ugh. My dad tells a really funny story one time about he and his wife Marg, they went somewhere. They went like to Lowe's or something, and they got halfway in the parking lot on the way in, and she bust out laughing. She doubled over in laughter. Took her a while to finally spit it out. Hey, told my dad, we got to get back in the truck. We got to go home. He's like, why? Well, my dad is always known to have either chocolate-covered peanuts or chocolate-covered pretzels in his truck at all times.
Uh-oh.
He'd been eating them.
I know exactly where this is.
He'd been eating chocolate-covered pretzels, did not realize one slipped through his grasp, made its way onto the seat. He sat on it the whole way to Lowe's, wallowed around on it in those nice khaki pants he was wearing. And when he got out to go in Lowe's, after a 15-minute ride of sitting on top of a chocolate-covered pretzel and wallowing around on it, it looked like the man needed a diaper. And so Mark said, "Get back in the truck. We can't go anywhere." So be careful with chocolate-covered pretzels in the car. Even if it is October the 7th, National Chocolate Covered Pretzel Day. All right. JB sent me a note. Move Missouri to the west, move Auburn to the east. That would be, and I agree, that would be more of a topographical reality for conference divisions. Yeah, it would. But it throws a wrench in this whole rotation that we have, permanent cross-division rivals, blah, 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 because Alabama must play Auburn and must play Tennessee every year. Caller on the Davini Equipment phone line, raise your arms out. Do this chomp right here. The Gators are playing good football, and Gator Greg is not too high on the Gators defense. What's up, Gator Greg? Thanks for calling.
I mean, it's a bottom 100 defense, Mr. Wyatt, and maybe you can get one from Mr. Wyatt Senior and get him some of those Jim Harbaugh khaki pants next time he has the pretzel.
Right.
Harbaugh always he messes in his pants when he plays Ohio State. Anybody good? But Mr. Wyatt, who's calling the game on SEC Network, the Mississippi State Kentucky one? Maybe I don't know if it's your buddy Stitchcomb. He hadn't had him on in a little while. Maybe he can get him to call on. And Mr. Wyatt, is this going to be like a long trip for you? You driving up, or you flying up in more of a business trip, or a longer trip? You may could take the family with an extra day off and Columbus Day Monday, maybe they're out of school.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious on that. And what's your thoughts on your Chiefs potentially getting a little exposure from the Patriots player? You know, I know I didn't hear what Mahomes had to say about it. I think he had a press conference and stuff. But hey, they can win by 16 without Chris Jones. I mean, Mr. Wyatt, I think your team could go 15-1 this year. You Chiefs. I want to get your take on that. You have a great show. You and JB. JB is just doing an excellent job there this year. Really, really proud of the work he's doing with it. It's really made the show even a little bit better this year. So we appreciate you, JB, and y'all have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Greg. Appreciate the kind words very much. Okay, so the listed broadcast crew for State at Kentucky is the SEC Network primetime folks: Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik. That would be your TV bunch. I'll see if I can reach out. I don't know what their schedule is. I think they normally go to practices at the home team on Thursdays. I don't know. I'll see if maybe Cole can jump on here tomorrow if he's got time to do that, because he will preview it. Week 1, he was pretty high on Mississippi State's offensive line. Week 2, I'm not sure. I don't think so much. But anyway, that's the crew. Yeah, I'm going to drive up. We're all kind of broken up in terms of getting up there, when and how we're getting up there. But I am gonna drive, and I imagine it'll be driving in a little bit of rain up there and driving in a whole lot of rain coming back. But hey, whatever. Just kick back, go a little slower, and keep your head on a swivel, and
put on some Eddie Rabbit.
Plug in the Pandora on the phone and listen to little Gregory Allen Isikoff, some of those guys,
yes,
and just kick back.
You like him?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of his. Oh, and that channel, the Gregory Allen Isikoff channel on Pandora, is outstanding.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I almost made a trip a couple of years ago to go and see him when they recorded the album, when he performed out there at, what is it called, Red Rock or whatever it is out in Colorado.
Right outside of Denver.
Yeah, when he was with the Colorado Symphony. I threatened to go do it, and then I had a couple things kind of pull that.
Well, look, if you go see him again, let me know. I'm in.
All right. I'm not a huge concert.
I didn't know if you could get any higher in my book, but man, you just moved up a couple rungs on the ladder.
Yeah. Well,
that dude,
it's good to know.
I admire his being a guitar player. He's one of the coolest guitar players.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Great really songwriter. Just well-rounded all the way around. Yeah. He's just right up my alley. So I'm going to drive up there, do that. What did he say? Oh yeah, Chiefs. So, 15-1. Sure, you got the Bills coming up. We'll see what games happen. They're going to play the Raiders and then play Buffalo, who's playing good football. But there's a bunch of, frankly, I hate to say it, but there's a bunch of automatic wins on here. The Broncos twice, the Jets, the Dolphins, of course, Raiders twice also. The Chargers are their challenge in the division, but they're already holding a win over them once, and they're going to host them right at the end of the year. They host the Falcons. That kind of looks like an automatic win. Teams that are left on their schedule that could challenge them, I agree. You got 2 wins against the Raiders. This is for Kansas City, depending on who's healthy, who's not. 2 wins against the Raiders. Okay. 2 wins against the Broncos. A win against the Panthers. Panthers now. A win against the Dolphins. A win against the Falcons. A win against the Jets. And then the only 2 challenges they have left are at New Orleans in December and hosting the Chargers in the final regular season game, assuming all those happen. So do they have a chance at? Yeah, I think they have a great chance to be a 15-1 type team. Maybe better if they pull it off against both the Saints and the Chargers in that last game. But, again, depending on who's healthy, assuming everybody is, you don't see any that they wouldn't be favored in either the rest of the way, the whole year. All right, over here on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, Broski from Clinton. I think he might have been talking about Belichick right there, but he might have also been talking about Leach. He says, are the reporters dared to ask some of the off-the-wall questions? Seems like the questions are geared toward trying to stir up something negative rather than for insight. Well, I'm sure that some of them do it, not all, but some of them do that from time if they know they're going to get something. There's a little Issakoff, the stable song.
We could do this instead of the regular break music for just a little bit, give people a taste of it.
There you go. And so that sounds like a good old live version of it, the stable song. Y'all check him out. All right, so I'll go ahead and bounce right here, JB. We'll listen, and then we'll come back in a bit. And,
sounds good, pal.
And see what Tyler is laughing at on the Country Pleasing text line. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with autopay and paperless billing. Even without autopay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys will
play better than him. And he's right here, right now, online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Tweet by Pete Thamel. Could Texas A&M be 1-2 headed into Starkville next week? They host Florida this weekend. He said, I wrote last week about the referendum on Jimbo Fisher's $75 million deal. With Florida in town this week, there could be another reminder of the lack of return on investment.
I'm not one of those people to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it. He just doesn't have the mojo. He just doesn't have it.
So let's just say a what if right here, JB. Let's just do a what if.
He and Muschamp are equivalents. They are two peas in a pod. Just one of them's defensive and one of them's offensive.
Well, and maybe so, but I would say also that Muschamp has never had the kind of recruiting classes that Jimbo Fisher has.
Oh, no.
At two different places, mind you.
Yeah.
But
even at Florida, which was hard to believe that he could not get the people he needed at Florida.
Which probably tells you a little something right there. The whole package isn't quite right there. But let's just do a what if real quick, and then I'm coming to the phone. What if A&M loses this week at home to Florida? Just what if? And they're 1-2 with losses to Alabama and Florida. That'd be not two terrible losses, frankly, but they're losses. And go into Starkville and State light them up and beat them.
Yeah, he probably loses his job.
That's the talk, isn't it?
Yeah, I think my wife's first cousin's a huge A&M fan. Went to school there. His daughter graduated there. And he and I were talking the other day. I said, man, he's done. He's done. That's just me, though.
Okay. Hey, here's something else for you. I just saw on Facebook during the break, They are actively filming season 2 of The Chosen.
Oh, yeah.
And Jonathan Rumi, the actor who plays the part of Jesus,
right?
There was a video of him on the set, walking in front of this big set they're filming that is going to be like Jerusalem, but it's out in Utah where they're filming it.
Right.
And these big columns, and he's walking in front of it, and he looks at the camera and points at it, somebody with their cell phone. And when he points, they slow-moed it down, and they hit that music that was the last song you heard at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
The song about Rebel,
Yeah.
And I just thought I'd tell you, I think it won't be long now. We'll have season 2 popping up out there.
Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
Okay, Paul is hanging on the Davini Equipment phone line. Thanks for calling, Paul. What's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey,
I haven't
man.
talked to you in a while. Hope you're doing okay.
Hey, is this my rebel friend, Paul?
This is your rebel friend, Paul. I haven't talked. I've listened, but haven't called in a few months. But this is your rebel friend.
Well, I'm glad you called.
Who,
I was beginning to wonder if
more
everything was
impressed with
okay.
your wife than I am you.
I understand. It's good to hear your voice. What's up?
Remember that? Okay. You were talking about how crazy or illogical the formats are as far as East and West Division. Mm-hmm. And I big avid fan and have been forever. But tell me why this doesn't make sense and it satisfies every criteria it used to it. Okay, the West, let's take the 4 teams that are west of the Mississippi. Missouri, Arkansas, LSU, and A&M. That's logical, okay?
Okay.
Then you throw in Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Kentucky, all of which their eastern borders the Mississippi River.
Mm-hmm.
And in the east, you've got Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, that all border the Atlantic Ocean, and Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, and Vandy, which are the other 4 most eastern teams. Then you still get Alabama playing Auburn, Alabama playing Tennessee, Florida playing Georgia, Ole Miss playing State every year. I mean, how is that so difficult?
Mm-hmm. Well, it is not. Okay, it's not difficult, Paul. What you said makes logical sense. It makes
much common sense.
Well, and it makes geographical sense too. Okay, but here's the thing. It makes sense if Alabama doesn't have to play LSU every year, if you're okay with that.
Okay, well, then Alabama and LSU that can be one of their 2 games that play cross-divisionally every year.
Mm-hmm.
So what else is the problem?
Right.
I mean, I agree with you, Paul, because, I mean, look, if they took the Astros out of the National League and moved them to the junior circuit, yeah, we could do that in the SEC, right?
They sure did. Yes, and Alabama can play LSU every year, and Alabama can play either Ole Miss or Mississippi State every year, which would make sense from a proximity standpoint because they're very close. And then, every team, I mean, Florida and Georgia are a state-to-state rivalry. Georgia and Arkansas are state-to-state rivalry. Alabama, Auburn are an in-state rivalry. Tennessee, Alabama, and Auburn are state-to-state rivalry. And Tennessee and Vandy are an in-state rivalry. And then all of the other teams in the West, Mississippi, Arkansas, LSU, and A&M are border states. And then you got Ole Miss and Mississippi State in-state. And then Kentucky's west border is Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
So, makes sense.
Paul, I think it does make sense. I mean, it does. It makes sense geographically, and effectively, like, if I'm trying to look at this right, effectively, it is exchanging Alabama and Auburn for Missouri and Kentucky. The West and the East exchanging Alabama and Auburn go east, Kentucky and Missouri go west.
I'll take that.
Yeah. I mean, and you keep Alabama and Auburn in-state rivals, Florida, Georgia, interstate rivals, connecting states, Georgia, South Carolina, connecting states, Tennessee, Georgia, connecting states, Tennessee, Vandy, in-state rivals, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, in-state rivals, and then all of the other teams in the West, Missouri, Arkansas, LSU, and A&M, all border each other.
Mm-hmm. You know what somebody else did a few years ago that would sort of accomplish the same thing, but get around to it in a totally different path, Paul, was somebody came up with the idea of every team in the league having 3 permanent opponents, and then they rotate everybody else. And it sounds crazy on the front end. Well, it would give, for instance, like, I think that, just for an example, you know, like if you were Mississippi State, obviously Ole Miss would be one of your 3 teams you play every year. And maybe to even it out, you know, maybe, you know, Auburn is one of the others, and maybe, I don't know, Kentucky is one of the 3 permanents. And then all the other teams rotate on and off your schedule. But at least that would be something. That, to me, it's just such a far stretch from what we have. Maybe, Paul, the answer is after this COVID season of everybody scheduling 10 conference games, maybe there will be a point going forward at some point when it's time to redo this. They'll have the, you know, the impetus they need to go, all right, we did 10 games, let's do more conference games, and that'll solve this. I hope they do. I really do.
It's just crazy, and it's totally unfair to a Missouri to have to come all the way east to play conference games against Florida and South Carolina and Georgia, bordering the Atlantic Ocean every year. That's just stupid.
It really is. You know, it doesn't make any sense at all. But, you know, a few teams and fan bases have gotten what they want, and the rest of them are all held hostage because of it. And that's, but I think what you have here would definitely make a little sense. And I'll give you another example to just kind of hammer the point home. I think I've made this example before, and it's just my own example. But as a player, Paul, I was on a team for 5 years in the late 90s, right? Redshirt freshman and then redshirt freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So I was on a team for 5 years, and I have been a part of a traveling broadcast crew now for 9 seasons. So the better part of a decade and a half, and I have never traveled to Gainesville, Florida, as a player or as a broadcaster. Crazy. Yeah, it's true. Now, okay, right. State went to Gainesville in 2010, but that was before I jumped into the broadcast crew traveling. I only went to some games. I was on pregame, postgame, so I missed that one. Now, that's the asterisk in that whole thing. But how can it, regardless of which years it is, how can I spend basically 15 years? How can I spend 15 years as a part of a traveling home and away team inside of 2 decades and have never gone to Gainesville, Florida? So when we talk about the experience for student athletes, that right there is crazy. Hey, I appreciate your call, Paul, and don't be a stranger. Thank you. So you take Bama and Auburn out of the West, put them in the East. You take Missouri and Kentucky out of the East, put them in the West. Now everybody gets what they want, and we can do away with this permanent cross-division rival stuff.
Hey, man, would you currently say, if you had one word to describe the current SEC scheduling, would you say it's nonsensical?
It don't make no sense. That's what I would say. That's also what Pete on our Brother Where Art Thou would say.
That don't make no sense.
Y'all stick around.
I'm actually going to head up to Biggersville up in Alcorn County tonight. 1A Biggersville, they're 2-0 this year. Scored 60 points in their ball game last week, so they're off to a really good start. Been by there a bunch. You can see the school and the field from the highway. There's a school, a water tower, a barbecue place, and a Dollar General, and a lot of really good folks.
I started at Biggerville in the second grade in 1966, and I've been here since the second grade. So people in Biggerville have been so good to me. And the good Lord, I'm just really blessed by what I've been able to experience. After school Thursday, there was 28 kids out there, and we counted the orders after. You know, we're just blessed to support the school, and they sure support me.
This is the busy night, like the everyone's coming.
It's a close-knit community. I mean, they love the kids, and like I said, I've been in Biggerville for 60 years, and it's just a great place. I mean, great place to raise your family and kids and support the school.
Smithville, who's always kind of been a 1A powerhouse, hasn't played yet this year. They haven't been able to really even practice as much because of COVID. So kind of an interesting dynamic because Biggersville has never beaten Smithville. At least that's what I'm told. So it's actually a huge opportunity for that community.
I was supposed to say next week. Hamburger and Coke. You got any chips?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's game between the Biggersville Lions and the Smithville Seminoles. And what a game we have in store tonight as the 2-0 Lions take on the 0-0 Smithville Seminoles.
Well, let's see if the Lions can get their run game going with senior number 23 Goldman Butler.
So tonight's matchup getting ready to take place as the Biggersville Lions won the toss. They have elected to defer to the second half. We thank you all for tuning in to tonight's ball game.
Of course, Smithville brings tradition that people long for, and that's kind of what we long for here. You know, again, we're building it, but they've kind of set the standard, especially in 1A in North Mississippi and across Mississippi in general. So yeah, it's exciting. To my knowledge, they've told me we've never beaten them. So what an accomplishment that would be, and that's what we shoot for, and just to kind of set the tone for the whole season for bigger and better things, hopefully.
Bowler got a couple of blocks. He's going to bust through. He's going to break free. One man to beat. Breaking tackle. And will finally get pushed out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. So a great job right there for the Biggersville Lions. Rousey shotgun takes a snap and hands it off to Butler once again. Butler up the middle got some blocks. Going to be handed off to Butler. Round to the left side and he'll bust into the end zone. Bowler around to the left side, and he'll walk into the end zone once again. As the Lions would take a commanding 14-0 lead early on here in this ball game.
There, baby. That looks great. Way to go. Good call. Good job, guys. Good. Way to go.
It's a hometown. It's just a big family. Everybody here knows everybody. Friday nights over the last 4 or 5 years have just increasingly become more and more exciting. You know, our team, these kids have grown to start in 8th grade and 9th grade as freshmen and played a lot of football and come a long way. This is a pretty good crowd. You know, we were limited on the number of tickets we can sell, so obviously normally there would be a lot more people here. But yeah, they definitely got a good crowd tonight.
Take snap and they're going to go to the air. They're going to throw deep. They might have a man. Intercepted again.
By number 8, Jarrell Jones. That's the second pick of the game.
2 3-and-outs, 2 interceptions for the Lions. They are turning on all cylinders tonight here, Devin, as they will get the ball back once again. Another opportunity here to score. Here is the clock going to tick down 2-0. The Lions are going to take a dominant victory over the Smithville Seminoles, 64-0.
And I do think that this could be the Lions' year as they show dominance in their first 3 games, but it's still pretty
right, for the Bakersville Lions, we thank you all for joining us here. Signing off from the Lions Den. The final score is 64-0. The Bakersville Lions win. This is Lions sportscaster Aiden McAllister, joined with me by Devin Bullock. We thank you all for joining in. Thank you and have a good night.
Live and local. This is the Matt Wyatt Show. Talking about sports from around the world and right here at home. Streaming to you at the Zone 1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right, let's go. Hour 3 of the show. Off and running. Popping. Hour 3 of the show. Presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Overstreet Properties, if you need a place to stay in Starkville permanently, if you're moving, maybe looking at investment property, or maybe you head up there for ball games several weekends out of the year. You need your own condo. It's yours. You go in there, use it when you need it, or just leasing an apartment. Anything like that. Anything residential like that under the sun. Make sure you go to Overstreet Properties. See Kane Overstreet at overstreetproperties.com and find the phone number and contact right there. Make sure you start your search right there. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. JB is here, and most importantly, you are here, and you can be a part of the show, make things go for us. So call us, text us, and all that. I'd love to hear from you. Grab a this is effectively what you're doing. When you text or call or chat it up on the live stream on YouTube or Facebook, you are kind of grabbing a chair, having a seat at the table with us, and joining the conversation. So text me on the Country Pleasing text line 885-ESPN. 885-ESPN or 885-3776. Call us on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment. Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. Here's a number to call me, 995-1059. 601 number, 995-1059. In just a few minutes from now, we'll chat it up with Neil Price, Mississippi State play-by-play announcer for football on the radio and men's basketball. But we're in the thick of football right now. Basketball really just right around the corner. Things are about to get busy for Neil, but we'll look ahead to a trip to Kentucky this weekend, coming up with him, and talk about it from the broadcast side of things and also look at Kentucky's team. So we'll talk with Neil coming up. Hail State Voice, that's him on Twitter. What is this? So, JB, there's a story popping up that...
Well, it started circulating earlier this morning. When I opened up at Live Oaks early before the sun came up, I was reading about some of this. And evidently there was an altercation on the field last week, between J.J. Watt and Bill O'Brien. And, of course, Bill O'Brien was let go yesterday.
Right.
And evidently you've got, again, that polarizing view of the Twitters where one person said J.J. Watt could run for mayor in Houston and win in a landslide. And you got another guy saying he's a locker room problem and a coach killer. What a disgrace and a terrible role model for the children.
Wait a minute. About J.J. Watt?
Yeah, this guy's saying that. So,
well, who said that?
Some crazy fan.
Some fan said that about J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
That he's a locker room killer.
Which couldn't be further from the truth.
Right. It couldn't be further. Well,
not that I've been in the locker room with him, but everything else that I've read, I mean, it just shows you, hey, players, if you ain't getting it done as a coach and you've got some decent players and they're wondering why, maybe that happens. You've seen it, before in baseball especially.
How about that? Well, I'm gonna start looking it up and read more about it. That's the first I'd heard of it. Story that I knew Bill O'Brien had gotten fired. I knew that it seemed like he probably would, but you would never think that J.J. Watt was kind of behind it, frankly. All right, before we get to Neil in just a bit, jump over here to the Country Pleasing text line. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Anthony from Tupelo says, during your film study, did Costello hold the ball more than a 3 count? It seems like the offense works better when you get rid of the ball quick instead of holding onto the ball longer. Yeah, It does. I would say that, again, there's a perception for a lot of people that timing, getting the ball out on time, and accuracy when you're throwing against man-to-man coverage, throwing verticals up the field, throwing that go route up the sideline or the out route, different things that you do against man-to-man, that the timing and the accuracy is really important, but we don't hear much about timing and accuracy when we're talking about finding those windows in zone coverage. But they are just as, if not more, I think, important. Because, you're trying to stop in between defenders who are watching you as a quarterback. And if there's a break happening, like, let's just say we run a curl route out there at 12 yards. If I, as a quarterback, wait for, number one, the receiver to break and show me his face, and then I wait to see for sure that he's in the window, and then I throw the ball, well, the defenders are going to close on him and either knock the ball away, or he's going to catch it. It's bang, bang. There's no yards after the catch, and he may have to come back to the football and lose yardage in order to make this a completion if I wait and hold on to the ball. However, if I've read it and anticipated it ahead of time, we're on the same page with where that break is going to happen. Whereas a quarterback, I actually let the ball go before the receiver has even turned around. He has not put his foot in the dirt, stopped his route, and turned his head to find me and the ball. He hadn't even done that yet, and I've already let it go. Well, he's got better chance then, if the ball is accurate and the timing is there, for him to, when he does turn around, the ball is halfway there, it gets there quicker, he catches it a split second before the defenders close. He's got more room to then turn and make yards after the catch, and he doesn't lose any yardage coming back to the football. That's just one example, and those things are really important. That's what I saw. I didn't necessarily see a problem hanging on to the football. You're trying to read stuff. I just think sometimes when you're out of the gates kind of doing some things for the first time together, it's not just about me. This isn't golf. Okay? This isn't a starting pitcher out on the mound. I mean, this is a quarterback where I've got to have 10 other guys and we're all on the same page, and every last one of us do our job at the same time, and all it takes is one to not do it, and goes the play. So when you go out and you do that for the first time, you learn a lot. I guarantee it was just like Mike Leach said, those film sessions are really painful sometimes because you sit there and you feel stupid. You're like, how did I do that? Or how did I not know that? But it is part of it. And, good teams will use that stuff to their advantage. So we got to go forward and find out if they're a good team. And that starts this week on the road at Kentucky, where right around 4:30 Central Time or so on Saturday afternoon, you'll be able to tune in here on 105.9 The Zone and other stations around the state to our broadcast, pregame show with Bart Gregory and Charlie Winfield, and then they'll kick it up to the booth in Lexington with Neil Price, Hail State Voice on Twitter, and he is on your radio right now to peek ahead at it. Neil, I really do appreciate some time here on Humpday, middle of the week, Wednesday, looking ahead to the weekend, back to your old stomping grounds. I know you got to be looking forward to that.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I always tell people it's a hard game for me, and it's not anything to do with the teams on the field as much as it is when I go back, you see a lot of people that were awful kind to you. I was there for 12 years, and you walk back in and the memories come back a little bit. And I didn't do the football games there like I'm doing here, but I sure watched a lot of games there. And, it gets a little easier, I think, every time you go back because you're a little more detached every time. But, it's a good place. I met my wife there. I'll always have really fond memories of it, I think. And, what I'd love to have is another one of going up there with the state team. It's going to come out there with a win, and I hope that Saturday is the day we're going to be able to make that happen.
A lot of people have this week commented, Neil, on your broadcast, bragged on you. First of all, last night I was talking to some guys up in Kentucky doing their show. They were bragging on you. But I was going to tell you this and see if it rung a bell. There was a guy who called in this week. His name was Thibodeau, and he was very complimentary of you as a broadcaster during the games. And he said this. He said, I used to grow up listening to this show called American Country Countdown with Bob Kingsley. He said, and the highest compliment I could pay Neil is that he could sit right down and do that show the same way that Bob Kingsley did and not miss a beat. And I thought to myself, that might even be a show that Neil is familiar with or a broadcaster you're familiar with. I know it's putting you on the spot. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of Bob Kingsley. I never heard his show.
Yeah.
I know that Bob died not too long ago, I think in the last couple of years. And Kingsley used to be really big in Texas. I don't know if it's still just kind of regionalized to Texas, Louisiana, Southwest. I'm not sure. We didn't get it in East Tennessee where I was growing up. No one carried it there. What I would tell you is there was a time at a different stage in my career when I was starting out where I played some country music on the radio, among other things. And if I was not doing this and I was still somehow in radio broadcasting, I think I'd enjoy doing a show like that. I'd like to do a syndicated show like that and just tell some stories about the songs and kind of let the music speak for itself a little bit and just kind of enjoy sitting back and listening for a couple, 3 hours a week. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But,
sure.
You know, I never heard Bob Kingsley. I know who he is, familiar with the program, but never heard it. But it's awful nice of somebody to compare me to somebody who's well known in radio circles, not just music circles. I'm certainly flattered by that.
I'm looking at it here. Bob Kingsley. Yeah, he did pass away in 2019. The name of that show, American Country Countdown. That was a neat call. I made that note. I promised myself I'd bring it up to you when you came on. When you got into broadcasting initially, like the first time that you decided you're going to get into it, was it definitely the sports thing that got you into it, or was it music?
Oh yeah, no, it was sports. I grew to enjoy being a disc jockey when I was starting out, 15, 16, 17 years old at WCRK in Morristown, Tennessee. You know, I'd go in and get to fill in morning drive when our morning drive guy would take vacation in the summer, and I'd do maybe a week or two in the summer of 5 a.m. to 10. And man, I mean, you thought you were big time now if you were running that 5 to 10 show in the morning, because that's when folks were going to work and a lot of people were listening, and you know, you got to do all the different cool little features that came with a small town radio station at that point, and got to fill in doing some afternoon drive where you played more music, not so feature driven, probably. But it was great fun. And I did an interview before the LSU game with Chris Blair, who does the games there, does a really, really nice job. And I told Chris, you know, he asked me a question about, you know, do you listen to a lot of sports talk radio? And I said, I don't. I said, because no offense, I live in that world every week, and I live in it for about 8 months out of the year between doing state football games and state basketball games. And when the games end, if I can't get in the car and listen to one of my friends that's doing games somewhere, because I like to listen to my friends, if I can't do that, I'm putting music on, and I just want to get away from it because I've been immersed in it for a week, and I'm just ready to release and just say, okay, I'll turn it off. I'm done. You know, and that's kind of how I look at it, good, bad, or indifferent. But I like getting lost in music. Today, been driving around listening to Eddie Van Halen a little bit because, you know, we lost Eddie Van Halen yesterday, and Dance the Night Away came on, and yeah, I rolled the windows down and turned it up to 11, and yeah, it was good. So,
good
put a smile on your face.
Yeah, absolutely. Neil Price on your radio right now. He is Hail State Voice on Twitter. Give him a follow. Play-by-play radio announcer, Mississippi State football. Will be at Kentucky this weekend. You know, you spent time at Kentucky as a broadcaster for them and for a lot of years. And, Neil, you were there and in town and with the programs when Mark Stoops got the job and took over. And he went, 2-10, and then he goes 5-7 a couple of years in a row. And then finally started to have some success here recently. But we'll get to that. When he first took over and he had those 3 losing seasons right out of the chute, I would just think that given the way he's turned it around here these last 4 years, as you look back on what it was like initially there at Kentucky, people have to be happy with what he's doing there, don't they?
Yeah, I think overall people are very happy. And I think, too, Matt, you can look at Kentucky's football program and you can look at Mississippi State's, and there are some parallels there, I think, with regard to how those programs have kind of built and changed their identities with a perception of how they're thought of among people in the SEC. Now obviously Kentucky's not hit the same heights in the last decade that State has. They've not been number 1 in the country. They've not, been as consistent in getting to bowl games in the postseason, but they have shown improvement. And the reason I think that people are happy with what Mark Stoops has done is because he has made them in the last 3-4 years a consistent postseason team. He's improved their defense, which is an area where they were not very good when he inherited the program. And they're starting to win some recruiting battles in Ohio that they would not have won at any other time, probably going back to when maybe Jerry Claiborne and Fran Kersey were the coaches at Kentucky, and they had those really good teams in the late 70s and in the early 80s. So that's why people have been real happy, I think, with what he's done. And, they're producing some good players. If you look in the NFL, I mean, Benny Snell's a guy who comes to mind, but, he's great running back who's caught on, I think, with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And has made some plays. They got some really good defensive guys that are playing in the NFL right now that have been there since Mark Stoops has been the coach. So he has changed the perception, but he's also elevated the expectation too. And State people know how that can be because, State gets the number 1 in the country in 14. They start, winning and going to all these bowl games, and anything less than 8 or 9 wins, and it starts to feel like, okay, wait a minute, what happened? That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with those high expectations, but that's what happens is the bar moves a little bit, and everybody's got to be ready to make sure that you're willing to meet the new expectations and keep moving the program forward. And I think you got people at both places, Mark Stoops at Kentucky and Mike Leach here, who understand that and are trying their best to keep the ball moving in the right direction.
Neil Price on your radio. Tomorrow night, Neil, I'm assuming Dog Talk with Mike Leach, 7 p.m. scheduled as usual going ahead tomorrow night?
Oh, yeah. We'll be right there. Yeah, right there downtown. If you're going to be around Starkville tomorrow, I say this because last week when the show ended, we met some folks in their golf cart downtown that were from Madison who've come up to be a part of the show and come to the game. So if you got some folks who are going to be up this way that are listening to you, not just in Jackson today, but anywhere else that the show might be on this evening, come on out. They've really created a neat deal with Dog Talk. And I'll be honest with you when I tell you I didn't know how this was going to work when they first pitched to me how we were going to do the show to kind of keep, standards with everything going on related to COVID. And Coach and I are at the Convention and Visitor Center downtown on Main Street there in Starkville. They've got a nice conference area there in the front where they've got glass on 2 sides of the wall where we can look out to Main Street. Folks can, more importantly, look in and see Coach Leach, and also from Lafayette Street on the other side and look in and see him. And then they've got speakers on the light post along the sidewalks downtown, and they put that up on our affiliate here in Starkville where you can hear Coach Leach. If you tweet a question to him, you can hear the response he gives to that question. And it still allows us to have a little bit of a personal feel without having everybody right there on top of you like you would in a restaurant or in a more crowded setting. It's been really cool. They've got some food trucks down there. The city set some tables up. Folks can go and grab something out of one of those food trucks. They can hang out. It's nice, good weather. It's been really cool this month that we've been doing it to see how people have responded to it.
Neil, I got about a minute left. I was just going to say that, judging by the last couple of days, I don't think he's entirely fed up, but I sense that he's heard it enough, and that is the question.
Rush 3 and drop 8? Is that where you're going?
Yeah,
Rush 3 and drop 8?
He's heard just about enough about drop 8, I think.
Well, and the thing that I took away from the press conference Monday is he made a point to say, listen, I've coached against a lot more zone defenses probably than I have man defenses since I've been around. These guys haven't forgotten how to play against the zone, okay? Yeah. But the thing that he's got to teach, and I think he's made this point too, it takes patience, okay? So what that means for KJ Costello is if Kentucky rushes 3 and drops 8, and I'm sure they're going to do some of that, you got to be patient enough to make sure that you wait on those guys to check down in those holes in the zone. Don't try to make the first play right away.
Right.
And I think KJ was a little guilty of that because he had success going down the field at LSU, and he thought, if I did it against those guys, I can do it against Arkansas. And Arkansas had 2 guys back there waiting in between, and they picked him off as a result of it. So, he's got to have the receivers be patient. Those receivers underneath, too, have got to go sideline to sideline and really stretch that zone out to make sure you spread the field. But if they'll just be patient, do those things, they're going to move the ball. These coaches haven't forgotten how to do that.
That's right. Neil, really appreciate you here on a Wednesday, man. Safe travels. Looking forward to being up there with you this weekend. Appreciate it.
We'll look forward to seeing you there.
All right, man. Thank you. That's Neil Price, Hail State Voice on Twitter. Give him a follow if you don't already. Hour 3 presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Rolling along. Stick around.
You turn your head my way.
I am not saying by any stretch of the imagination that we're going to win tonight. I will say, Germantown's going to be a tough out for everybody this year. I don't blame you for picking Warren Central. History shows they'll win the game tonight, but I think we'll play them tougher than what people think we will.
And now Warren Central's good. Warren Central's good. Solid team. Like Germantown, this is the year they could do something. That's one of the biggest games tonight. If I could be at a game, that's where I would be. I'll be headed to Vicksburg tonight. Get to check out Warren Central hosting Germantown. Big 6A ball game. And, Germantown loaded with really good players. They're off to a 3-0 start. Warren Central, 3-0. It's a huge matchup. I can't wait to see that one tonight.
I think we're going goalpost to goalpost, sideline to sideline. Goalpost to goalpost, sideline to sideline.
Starting the regional play tonight. Now Nick Barnes, I think, is going to check into the game alongside Branson Robinson. Armor in shotgun formation. He's going to go to Nick. Nick gets a hold, and he breaks it to the 30. Up to the 29-yard line. I'm looking for a big game for Nick tonight.
Thompson again, 1st and goal. Up and over. Is he in? Side judge running in. Touchdown, Vikings. There's the call.
Right route, no trip.
There's the give. Trey Hall sweeping right side. Gets the block for the wide receiver. He's in the secondary. Down the right sideline. The chase is on. 30, 25, 20. Nobody's going to catch him. Trey Hall to the end They give it to TJ. Ball is on the ground.
Oh, wow.
Germantown says they have it. Germantown bench went nuts. Germantown does have the football. Everybody in tight for the Vikes. Quick drop. It's deflected in the air. Taylor Smith again. He's done it again. A pick six for Smith.
Second one of the season, Jared. He had one a couple of weeks ago, and Taylor Smith takes it in.
Fires over the middle behind his receiver. Incomplete. That's it. 1-0 in district. The Vikings win 23-10 over the Germantown Mavericks.
Great job by the Vikings tonight. You saw the halftime adjustments by Coach Josh Morgan and his team.
It's huge for right now. It's huge for down the road, guys. You set yourself up very nicely. Now, what we have got to focus on is we're going to enjoy this son of a gun. You hear me? We're going to enjoy it, guys. We're going to relish it. And we're coming back, and we're getting ready to get
Really
back.
outscored Germantown as they came out. Great defensive plays from Taylor Smith and Tevin Bell. And a wonderful job to close out this game for the Big Red.
Factory Parts. It's about your family's safety and your car's value. Go to ClintonBodyShop.com. That's ClintonBodyShop.com for more information.
Hey, this is Jake, and I want to tell you your home is the most valuable asset you'll ever own. Let us help you keep your assets protected from the elements with a custom gutter solution courtesy of our friends at Gutter Masters. Gutter Masters is committed to being different than the competition, and our focus is professionalism and accuracy. We believe that prompt and clear communication is the key to a positive client experience, and we simply do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it at a competitive price. Call 601-503-7755 or visit GutterMastersLLC.com today to get protected.
Hey guys, listen up. Not only at Black Axis can you throw axes, darts, and primitive weapons, you can also feed your hunger now at the Boots and Badges Bar and Grill. From bullseye starters like the house-made cheese sticks to that exciting appetizer platter, we'll get you started. Grab a black ring basket or go for a kill shot like crawfish tots or a country-pleasing sausage cheese platter. From a massive craft beer selection to the game on one of our mini TVs, we got you covered. Grab a plate lunch daily or pregame before you start slinging axes. Call 601-259-9152 to schedule a lane or Facebook.com/Black Axis Throwing Club.
Are you ready to buy a home but have been turned down from another lender or just don't know where to begin? Don't give up on your dream. Your local Mississippi team at Angel Oak Home Loans may have the perfect solution for you. They offer traditional loans and a portfolio suite of products to help customers with home financing needs. Contact your Angel Oak Home Loans Mississippi team today. Visit angeloakhomeloans.com or call 662-571-2028. Not a commitment to lend. All loans are subject to credit approval. NMLS 685-842, Equal Housing Lender.
Attention, men. Have Viagra and Cialis let you down? Think your best days are behind you? Think again. If you suffer from erectile dysfunction or Peyronie's disease, regardless of age, Acoustic Wave Treatment Center of Mississippi can help. Using acoustic energy waves in short office sessions with no pain or surgery is the latest proven treatment. For an appointment, call 601-944-5585 or go to acousticwavems.com. That's Acoustic Wave Treatment Center of Mississippi and acousticwavems.com.
Let's go! Let's go! Go! With more of the Matt Wyatt Show. The guy who, if he's not talking sports, hey, he's fishing for bass, okay? But he's right here, right now. Online at 1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
Hey. Back with you here, rolling along, hour number 3 of the show on this Wednesday in the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. Braves are up 2-0 in the 5th. Got a 1-0 lead in the series against Miami. Playing it in Houston. Learned that earlier. They've played day games while I was on the air the last, yesterday and today, so that's my only excuse for not getting to watch it. I'm just, kind of keeping up on Twitter and every now and then watching the box score. There goes another one. Hour 3 of the show, presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Overstreetproperties.com. You headed up there to I mean, you're going to live there, whether it's permanently or for the weekend. Investment property, leasing an apartment. Maybe you need a condo for when you go into ball games and it's kind of yours, it's there. Or maybe you move into Starkville. Anything residential. Go to Overstreet Properties. See Kane Overstreet. Find all the information at overstreetproperties.com. Yeah, so Dansby Swanson went homered center field, second inning, 1-0 Atlanta. Then in the bottom of the fourth, Darno to left, gone, see ya. 2-0 Hot Atlanta, so they got a lead right here. Did you see all the drama in the Braves game yesterday, JB, or did you catch some of that on the replay stuff?
Yeah, I did. Sure did. My youngest kind of keeps up with all that, too. He's kind of a baseball nut.
He's a baseball guy. All right, so here's what it sounded like yesterday on FS1. Ronald Acuna Jr. led off the ball game this way.
Acuna squares one up and sends one to deep right center field. Back and well gone. Another leadoff home run for Ronald Acuna Jr. And an explosive Atlanta start here in Game 1.
Explosive Atlanta start, 1-0 at the first batter of the game. So he flipped the bat, right? Next time up, look out.
To the top, and Acuna, and he takes a strike after he blasted a home run to start the Braves off in the bottom of the first against Alcantara.
I'd like to see him run a heater in on Albies right here. He went oppo, hit that ball, here it comes. Not like that.
Whoa.
Not that, obviously. Yeah. And here we go.
Yeah. Well, Ronald Acuna Jr. has been through this before with the Marlins. Remember, this was a back and forth that took place when Jose Urena ended up hitting Acuna. And now the umpires are going to get into it. Alcantara and Acuna were getting near one another. Ron Washington, the third base coach and former manager, has to settle Acuna down.
All right, so little, get between them. Benches did not clear, but they don't like it. They hit him right in the rear end. Right in left, let's see, he's a right-handed hitter. Left gluteus maximus. Pow. That's going to smart. That's going to leave a mark, right? Hit him. The Marlins have done it. He continues to tear up their pitching. He did when he came into the league. And so they throw at him. Well, Travis d'Arnaud had the big shot later in the ball game.
Swinging away, deep center field, back towards the wall. Sierra at the track. It's gone! Travis d'Arnaud delivers, and the Braves have taken the lead in the seventh.
And all the fake fans get up on their feet. But
did you see Walt Weiss in there trying to be manly?
No, I didn't see it. What happened?
And when the tempers flared last night, remember Walt Weiss, shortstop
yes.
of the A's back
in
the
day?
Day?
Yeah, he's on the staff
he's on
now.
Their staff. And he's running around there going, I'm going to take care of somebody in here.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
He's got Snitker behind him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to get you. If he won't let me come get, I'm going to get you.
Those guys need to just stay out of it,
What's better, a hockey fight or a baseball brawl?
Yeah. Probably hockey.
Just because they're on skates.
Yeah, right.
And once they go down, it's over with.
And when some guy's always going to get his shirt pulled over his head, like you're in the fourth grade again in a hockey fight. After the game, d'Arnaud said that the HBP, when they threw at Acuna and hit him, that it woke up the Atlanta team.
I think it woke us up. We all obviously know what happened throughout the regular year and even years prior with Ronnie, and that definitely woke us up, and we took advantage of that momentum, and we're able to win today.
Now, listen to this. This is Snitker after the game about them beaning Ronald Acuna Jr. after a leadoff home run and a bat flip. They have done it before. They've thrown at him and thrown at him and thrown at him. He knows it. But have you listen if you've ever heard a manager basically speak out of both sides of his mouth more in one answer than Snitker about the getting hit by a pitch after the game.
It's just, he hit a long homer and got hit with a 97. I mean, it's my reaction wasn't good. I mean, I was, so, it was unfortunate. I'm sure I guarantee the kid wasn't trying to hit him. But, in that situation, I think if you're going to go in, you got to make sure if you go in, you don't hit him. I mean, and it comes to a point where you keep dinging that kid that that middle of the plate's been taken away. So, it was just, it's happening too much to that boy.
What is he talking about?
Man, I got no idea. I'm sitting here still watching that 8-minute and 52-second replay on YouTube.
Of the brawl. Hey, Speaking of YouTube, I got some sound for you here, sir. JB.
Let me hear it.
You're going to like this. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. There's a good preface, isn't it?
Yeah, well. I've been told that before.
No, here. Game 3. 1961 World Series, Yankees at Reds, Crosley Field. Okay?
Yeah.
Tie ball game 2-2, ninth inning. Roger Maris puts the Yankees on top. Listen to the voice calling the play.
Scored tied 2-2, ninth inning, and if ever it was pitch measuring time, it is right now, Joe. And you better measure right. There's one. It is deep to right field, and that ball is going, it is gone. Roger Maris gets his first hit of the series, and you could tell when it left the bat that it was gone. And the Yankees lead 3-2.
The 61 World Series, that was Mel Allen.
Yep, that's him. Man.
Mel Allen on the call. And we've mentioned him at one point before. Born in Birmingham, Alabama, went to the University of Alabama. He was the PA announcer for Alabama football games.
Which is different than the play-by-play guy.
It's two different things. In 1933, station manager, sports director of Birmingham radio station WBRC, asked Coach Frank Thomas to recommend a new play-by-play announcer. He suggested Mel Allen. His first broadcast was Alabama's home opener that year against the Tulane Green Wave in 1933. And next thing you know, up. And then he becomes the voice of the Yankees. Used as a color commentator for CBS radio broadcast of the 1938 World Series. So within 5 years, he went from the PA announcer at Alabama to the play-by-play announcer for a Birmingham radio station, and within 5 years, he's calling Yankees games in New York.
He went from the outhouse to the penthouse.
Boy, did he. Boy, howdy. He sure did. Okay, so Tyler, Teddy, Bully Bill, Jason, Res Dog, the other Jason, Donnie, and PT for MSU. I'm coming to all y'all on the text line next. Stick around.
I'm actually going to head up to Biggersville up in Alcorn County tonight. 1A Biggersville. They're 2-0 this year. Scored 60 points in their ball game last week, so they're off to a really good start. Been by there a bunch. You can see the school and the field from the highway. There's a school, a water tower, a barbecue place, and a Dollar General, and a lot of really good folks.
I started at Biggerville in the second grade in 1966, and I've been here since the second grade. So people in Biggerville have been so good to me, and the good Lord, I'm just really blessed by what I've been able to experience. After school Thursday, there was 28 kids out there, and we counted the orders after. We're just blessed to support the school, and they sure support me.
This is the busy night, like everyone's coming.
It's a close-knit community. I mean, they love the kids, and like I said, I've been in Biggerville for 60 years, and it's just a great place. I mean, great place to raise your family and kids and support the school.
Smithville, who's always kind of been a 1A powerhouse, hasn't played yet this year. They haven't been able to really even practice as much because of COVID. So kind of an interesting dynamic because Biggersville has never beaten Smithville. At least that's what I'm told. So it's actually a huge opportunity for that community.
I was supposed to say
I'll take
next week.
hamburger and
Monday.
Coke. You got any chips?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's game between the Beaversville Lions and the Smithville Seminoles. And what a game we have in store tonight as the 2-0 Lions take on the 0-0 Smithville Seminoles.
Well, let's see if the Lions can get their run game going with senior number 23, Goldman Butler.
So tonight's matchup getting ready to take place as the Beaversville Lions won the toss. They have elected to defer to the second half. We thank you all for tuning in to tonight's ball game.
Of course, Smithville brings tradition that people long for, and that's kind of what we long for here. You know, again, we're building it, but they've kind of set the standard, especially in 1A in North Mississippi and across Mississippi in general. So yeah, it's exciting. To my knowledge, they've told me we've never beaten them. So what an accomplishment that would be, and that's what we shoot for, and just to kind of set the tone for the whole season for bigger and better things, hopefully.
Bowler got a couple of blocks. He's going to bust through. He's going to break three. One man to beat. Breaking tackle. And will finally get pushed out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. So a great job right there for the Beaversville Lions. Throws a shotgun, takes a snap, and hands it off to Butler once again. Butler up the middle, got some blocks. Going to be handed off to Butler. Round to the left side, and he'll bust into the end zone.
For you to win a shot at $1,000. Yes, when you hear the word that wins, go to our website at thezone1059.com and enter that word so you can cash in.
Here's $1,000 free money.
Cash in from the couch.
Must be 18 or older to play. This is an Alpha Media company-wide contest. One winner will be chosen each time. Get more info and contest rules at thezone1059.com.
Cash in from the couch. From 1059, The Zone.
At this time, we are proudly required to present
more of the Matt Wyatt Show.
We have another totally awesome episode for you today.
And it's streaming right now online at thezone1059.com and on your radio
on ESPN 105.9.
The Zone.
And
Okie dokie. A little ways to go with you here on the show today. Tyler texted the show earlier on the Country Pleasing text line. He said, Matt, a wet game helps Ole Miss? I think I said that earlier. I said it might help Ole Miss. He said Najee Harris would run for 300 yards. He might do that with dry ground. Well, you got a good point. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you get a nasty, wet, sloppy game, maybe it would help Ole Miss create a turnover that they normally wouldn't create. Maybe it would cause Alabama to have an issue they normally wouldn't have. Isn't that what it's going to take? That's all I meant, Tyler. Appreciate the text. What does it say here? Okay, Bully Bill said, Matt, if you love Gregory Allen Isikoff, check out Max Gomez and Daniel Rodriguez and William Prince. Absolutely, I'll check them all out. I'll jot them down. Check all those out. Thanks for the suggestion. Very much appreciate that. Jason in Flagstaff. Muschamp at least won the East at Florida. Georgia gifted it to him, but still, Jimbo losing 4 or 5 games a year with top 5 recruiting. Yeah, they got to be better there. But, you know, look, they got to play Florida. They're 1-1 right now. We're kind of going ahead and giving them an automatic loss to Florida. Let's see what happens first and then decide. Resdog said Texas A&M will be 1-2. Unfortunately, he says, so will MSU. Let's see. Let's wait and see. Jason said, been with Paul for years. The league would be so much evenly matched east to west instead of heavy on the west if you exchanged Alabama and Auburn to the east for Kentucky and Missouri to the west, which would align the league a lot better geographically, give Alabama what they want. I don't know. There are so many solutions, but the problem is over the years, it just looks like to me the league hasn't really been looking for solutions. I don't know if they agree with us that the schedule is this big a problem, but it is. I mean, when you look up here and because of an October hurricane. LSU is going to play in Columbia, Missouri for the first time ever. And Missouri's been in the SEC since 2012. It's their first time to go up there. It just didn't make any sense. It's like those two teams aren't even in the same conference. I mean, seriously. Donnie said on the text line, hey, Matt, I'm all in on country pleasing. Yes, sir. Me too. I had some pineapple country pleasing sausage for lunch. Sure did. I sure did. PT
Wait. You had it for breakfast and lunch?
I did. I had jalapeno and cheddar for breakfast with a few other things and a little bit of that pineapple for lunch. I sure did. Pineapple and then chips and salsa with it. That's what I had for lunch. It sure is. PT for MSU, you're right. Coach Polk would say that. That's baseball. Gator Nation. Matt, Braves up 2-0. JB, Lakers win the title tonight, and you can play my victory party.
Gator Nation, I hear so much of that Lakers stuff from my youngest 27-year-old. Not that I have another 27-year-old, but he's 27, and I hear Lakers all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not a LeBron fan. I just can't go there.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm not a big fan.
I know you're a huge NBA fan.
Yeah, I just don't watch it. I just don't have.
Oh, Clay Travis had a great thing on it Monday. I was listening to it and talking about how bad the viewership has dropped, and he's
60 some odd percent.
Yeah, down way low, and it's not just the COVID in the bubble playing of everything either.
Right. Jason in Flagstaff said, if Matt Corral can throw in 40-mile-per-hour winds, the tropical storm would be great for Ole Miss. All right, here is an NFL note for you, and this is, hurricane-related since we're on the subject, Jason. An NFL note for you. Sources. Monday night's game between the New Orleans Saints and Los Angeles Chargers could be relocated to Indianapolis's Lucas Oil Stadium if needed because of Hurricane Delta. That's according to sources at ESPN. The Saints could also move their practice operations to Indianapolis if needed, as they did for a week in 2008 when Hurricane Gustav hit Louisiana. The Saints have long considered Indianapolis as a contingency option because of the ample hotel space and convenient location of the downtown stadium. Delta is bearing down in the state of Louisiana, as we know, and is expected to make landfall as a hurricane on Friday night. LSU already has moved its scheduled Saturday home game against Missouri to Columbia, Missouri, as a result. The Colts play the Browns in Cleveland on Sunday. They've been informed by the league that the Monday night game could be played at Lucas Oil, so they are getting the plan ready. Make sure you're aware, Saints fans. Make sure you're aware. In other NFL news, Bill O'Brien got into a heated exchange with Houston Texans star J.J. Watt during a recent practice. ESPN has confirmed. Watt on Wednesday said he has no ill will toward O'Brien, but said he is looking forward to a fresh start after the coach and general manager was fired following the Texans' loss to the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. The incident, which also included defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, took place in the week leading up to the winless Texans' Week 3 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, according to ESPN and multiple reports. The Texans fell to 0-4 with their loss this past Sunday to the Vikings, and O'Brien fired as head coach and general manager a day later. Sources confirmed to ESPN that, quote, a verbal blow-up at practice occurred 2 weeks ago, with one source telling ESPN's Diana Rossini that the incident was when O'Brien, quote, lost the team. Romeo Crennel, familiar name, is the interim coach. He'll coach them this week against Jacksonville. Here you have a quote from Watt. He said, I do think that there's an energy and excitement. We're looking forward to going out and getting a win and getting going 1-0. That's our goal. Watt said after the loss to Minnesota that the Texans obviously have to do something different. Another quote from J.J. Watt, we're 0-4. Whatever we're doing isn't working. Something needs to change. Something needs to be different. That was on Sunday after going 0-4. So there ain't no doubt that's part of it. No doubt about it. All right, we got a caller on the line. Let's try it out. Now, JB, you're telling me that his name is Lou Holtz?
That's what he told me.
All right, Lou Holtz on the Davini Equipment phone. Let's hear it.
Hey, this is Lou Holtz. And I just wanted to call and tell you about what's going on in football right now. I think Mississippi State's going to do pretty good if they, handle all this other stuff. And that's just going to be. Also, I got John Gruden back here with me.
Let's hear it. Where's Coach Gruden? Put Coach Gruden on the phone.
I'll tell you what, man. Right now, what I'm hearing from this show, man, I'll tell you what, it's pretty good, man. And that country pleasing sausage, man, that's a spider tootin' wide banana cream pie Xbox 460 count Chocula, man.
This really sounds like Coach Gruden. Coach Gruden, so you're into the country pleasing sausage, eh?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, it's good when you're, if you're about to have, a big tough hunt or something like that, man, and, if you're about to have some type of party, man, that stuff's pretty good, man. It has a good snap on it, man, just like a good center,
Hey, Coach Gruden, so you're just riding around with Coach Holtz? Is that what's going on?
I got some other people back here, man.
Who's that?
This is John. I like eating it all over everything. Another thing that the country pleasing sausage is good in is if you're making turducken sausage. It's a sausage that's stuffed inside of duck, which is stuffed inside of turkey, which is stuffed inside of chicken, which is stuffed inside your home.
Outstanding. Coach Holtz, Coach Gruden, and Coach Madden all in one car. Thanks, guys. Y'all be careful in the car, okay? Enjoy a little Gregory Allen. JB, I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. You're a good man.
See you tomorrow. See you.